Is it live?
I'm not getting anything.
Okay. Well, it's live on Rumble. I think we're live on Rumble.
Yeah, you might have to. Yeah, we're on now. You might have to go back on the other comments, the other channel, and tell them.
And we're live on
Maybe.
Twitch, so we're live everywhere. All right.
In the world. Okay, yeah, Iron Man does see us.
Yeah,
Okay.
so we're on Twitch, we're on Rumble, and we're live here. So.
Oh yeah, we're live on Toilet Time too.
No.
We're not live on Toilet Time.
They're not allowing us to go there right now.
It's saying that they're saying that we're live on Toilet Time right now.
It's on Toilet Time too. All right, great. I'm shocked they allowed that. All right. So we're live on Toilet Time. That's great.
Yeah,
all right. We're going to use this opportunity, fellas. You guys need to help us out. I need everybody to go to the other channel and subscribe, because I don't know if they're going to black out this channel.
Other channel, you mean? What's the name of the channel?
Let me put it in the link while there's an investigation going on.
We're being investigated by ONE.
No, actually, there's an investigation by DHS, which I contacted YouTube customer service, content service support, and I asked them what it was. And they said, well, according to this letter, we have a request by the Department of Homeland Security to do a review of your account. And I started laughing. I was like, Department of Homeland Security? Really? That's real?
We're making some people out there feel insecure.
But anyways, regardless, that's what they said. They're going to send me a letter here in 7 days. I'm going to forward that to my lawyer, and because this would be an breachment of a First Amendment issue. If they would have said that I violated TOS and it's a YouTube violation, there's nothing wrong with that. YouTube can clearly do that as a private company. But to have the government suppress speech and then YouTube acting on the government's behalf to suppress speech, that is a First Amendment issue. YouTube can do that on its own volition. You can't have the government suppressing speech. That's what they were saying. That was the problem with Biden. He was colluding with Facebook and a lot of other people, forcing Facebook to suppress speech. So we'll see what happens. But while all this is happening, the channel Toilet Time may go black. So we're going to keep on uploading. We're going to keep on live streaming. But until then, I need you guys to go to the Matrix Network channel. And like that, I'm going to post that link to the channel. And I want everybody, if you can, do me a favor and go subscribe over there so you guys can get all the content, because that's where we're going to be able to go live. And I might go live throughout the week. It might just be by myself, because colleague probably won't be able to be here, to give you guys updates, anything that's happening, any other information I find out. And so if you want to stay tuned into that, the only place I might be able to post is that Matrix Network channel. So here, let me go ahead and post that here so you guys can have it.
Yeah, again, here we are, fighting these battles again and late again. So we're doing the best we can. At least this time we have backups going on, so you guys don't have to worry. So we do adapt every time YouTube and foreign nations and all that try to come and attack us. We have
it's so weird. This is Toilet Time TV.
You have the president of the UN down our throats.
So
and we're always going to end up on top.
Yeah, I pinned the comments, so if you guys can click on that link, and that will take you over to the new YouTube channel, the Matrix Network, and that will be where we are going to be going live if they cut this off. I am actually shocked. I tried to set up all of this last night, and I tried to go live on Toilet Time, and it says they cannot make connection. I don't know what in the world happened, but something I must have did something, and I honestly can't even know what that is. But that's why we're on Twitch now. We're on Rumble, live, and I was going to do Kick also, but I didn't. So Twitch, Rumble, the Matrix Network. I may also go live on Facebook or anywhere else.
What about Omegle?
No, not doing that. But anyways, I just want to give you guys that update. But that's not going to hinder our conversation. We're going to have this great debate, this great conversation with Ted B and Tom McLaughlin today. But I do want to give you guys that update. So before we get into all of that, if you guys could at least go over to the new channel and subscribe, that that will help us a lot. But I will give you guys updates. I will. And depending on what my lawyer advised me, I want to. I haven't received a letter yet, but I want to screenshot that and show you guys everything it says, because I just thought it was crazy. Out of all the channels, all the places, why is DHS worried about Toilet Time TV? But I don't know. They're supposed to give me an in-depth response of what videos, what content, what they're investigating. And so they're supposed to give me that in the next couple days or so.
What more proof do we need that we're living in sun-dry times?
Well, I don't know. It's just weird because there's a lot of people that say a lot of things, but maybe because they're too interconnected and it's a part of the schema.
I think it's Iron Man's fault.
And we're just not.
I blame all this on Iron Man.
I don't know, but I'm not tripping. I really ain't. I ain't worried about it. I fixed everything last night so we can continue on. So you guys don't worry about it. I ain't worried about it. We're going to keep on moving on.
I'm not worried about anything.
But I do want you guys to go subscribe to the new channel if you can do that. As I see, we got 11 subscribers, and throughout this whole live, I'm going to keep on encouraging people. Everybody who comes in, please go subscribe. And if you guys can encourage people in the chat to go subscribe to the new channel so they can get updated, that'll be great. But on to the topics of conversation. We have Golden Arm here too, and he's back. He hasn't been here in a while, but we're glad to see him back. But
he's a good guy. Shoes.
do we have Ted B? TED Talks. Do we have Ted B? And do we have Tom McLaughlin? Are we ready for the debate of the century? And while you guys answer that question,
should we read through the comments?
Yeah, go ahead and read while we. I'm also going to try to set this up so we can plug them in. But yeah, go ahead.
All right, I'll read a few. Maybe Golden Arm can read a few too. Ted B says, "Let's get ready to plunger." And then Ted B says, "Hey Tom, according to Discord, they were attacked." Yeah, we were accosted. Yes. But we're doing fine.
Yes.
This isn't the time to lose hope. This isn't the time to go sell your possessions and send it to us. This isn't that time, okay? We'll let you know when it's time to do that. But right now we need everybody to stay calm because that's what's important.
Stay calm.
And nom nom. Ted B says, "See what we did, Tom? We agreed to debate, and the man tried to shut us down." Wow, the man, capital man, the man. We're talking about
that's power.
Yeah, we're talking about the system, the bird who owns both wings. Iron Man says, "Got it." That's good. The wedding cake is ready. All right, that's on the Toilet Time chat. I think no, that's on this new chat, the Matrix Network chat. The other one is Toilet Time. Did you want to read any of these? Down here.
Man, yo, top of the toilet tank. The Army Ranger.
Yeah. That's how's that Texas Ranger song go?
I think it's the Army.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the song is like, all you gotta do is look behind you, because that's where the Army Ranger's gonna be. No? I'm sure our chat has seen the Army or Texas Ranger.
Texas Ranger show?
Yeah.
I think I saw Power Rangers.
Oh, yeah, those guys.
Power Rangers.
Yeah, those guys are Rangers, too. I forgot about that. Wow. Wow. My mind is blown. You want to read the next chat?
Iron Man says timeliness is next to godliness.
Oh, that's real lively.
That's true. Well,
I don't understand.
yeah, well, when you're fighting the Prince of Persia and his angels, it's bound to happen.
I'm about to post a link for Ted B and Tom McLaughlin, so you guys can join in the live.
Would you like to keep reading the comments?
Yeah. Iron Man has a lot to say.
I'm telling you, this is why the DHS is...
My brother...
Mm. That's beside the point.
You're
Pass it, don't trash it.
I've talked enough.
I don't think so. We're just getting started. The real Ted B says, I've got YouTube TTTV, YouTube The Matrix Network, and Rumble TTTV all open.
Yeah, there's already glitches I can see. I'm trying to get in here now so I can click on the live. It won't let the chat show up on one side. So I don't know how this even worked, but it's working. But I'm going to try to
I'm
post.
reading on both chats.
Yeah, that's what's interesting. I'm going to mute this. All right. Because I have to do this to post the link on this one. All right, so this is the link for the live if you want to get in on that one. And...
What, wave your hand? There is a little bit of a delay.
And now I'm going to post the link on the other channel.
There it is. That's the delay right there.
So you have two more people that come on and debate?
Yeah.
They said that they would last weekend.
What did they debate?
Day. What were we talking about last week?
Ted B. Tom McLaughlin said he would like to debate Tom about what he was talking about.
Ted
Tom,
and Tom were supposed to debate about...
Yeah, Tom said, I'd really like to debate you about that. And so...
Yeah, what was it exactly?
I don't know.
Oh. Well, it's on the... it's on the flyers we've been sending out all over the earth.
Oh, here it is. We got Ted here. 1 second, I'll post you in. Can you hear me?
Yep. Can you hear me?
Yeah, let me reduce this sound over here so you don't have an echo. Okay. 1 second, I'll post you in. All right. There's Ted B.
Gay for Onward said, I can't hear the guest. I don't know if that's... Which guest, Mr. Gay?
Golden Arm. Greetings, by the way. His audio is going in and out.
Oh.
All right.
Is it still going in and out?
How quickly is it going in and out?
It should be fixed now.
Burger quick. As fast as burgers.
Wow.
No, I'm not hearing him.
You're not hearing Golden Arm?
Can you
Right.
say something, Golden Arm?
Say something.
It's very low.
Okay.
Say something.
Yeah, it might not be picking up because of the other one, but just do a sound check real quick. Everybody in the chat, can you hear Ted B? Go ahead and do a mic check real quick, Mr. Ted B.
Mic check. Check mic.
And we got Mr. Tom McLaughlin here. We're going to post him in. Give me a second, Mr. McLaughlin.
Yeah, Mr. Gay says he hears them now. He hears both guests. That's good. You may just have to speak up a little bit. The mic may be tapped in by the DHS as well.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I've had to do some modifications today, so. You guys are gonna
Well,
just
if
have
they're
to work with
listening,
that.
I have a grant I'm working on that I'd like for them to review. So,
All right, Tom McLaughlin should be live.
I can hear you.
I can. All right. How about everybody else? If everybody can hear Tom and hear Tim, press a 1 so I know.
Hey, Tom, we can't see your handsome face.
No, I'm gonna have to put a picture there
The
because
block is hot,
he doesn't like to show his face.
and for good reason, clearly.
Yeah. I would say after all of this, it's probably there is a good reason.
You think I can get the real ID off of this?
Probably.
But anyways, you guys go ahead and talk, and I'll put a picture over Tom McLaughlin. But do you guys remember what you guys wanted to talk about?
No.
No.
I think Tom was trying to say that he was going to get the real ID because he wanted to be one with Satan. Was that right? Am I quoting you correctly, Tom?
We were arguing about the real ID,
No
weren't
way.
we? I do that so much, I don't know who I'm talking to when I do it.
I can't.
I don't remember chiming in on that. It may have been after I dropped off for that. I don't remember the real ID. We were talking about time. Trying to think some of the other things.
As of recent enlightenments, I say everybody should get it. I love it. I support it.
The real ID
And
or the mark of the beast?
absolutely. Both.
Okay.
In recent events and what would you call that? Things. What the hell are we looking at now?
That's you.
Who is that?
That's you.
There's your daddy.
Where'd you find it?
It's you.
I think he
Pornhub?
wants to know how we found that.
OnlyFans?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my picture on OnlyFans.
There's Tom.
You have to widen it a little more, but you're getting there.
Yeah.
That's as wide as it goes, Tom. We can't.
Yeah.
Well, that's the best you're getting today. So, all right.
Hi.
Yeah, this guy's flossing.
That's
Yeah,
old.
with literal floss in between his legs.
I was thinking your teeth.
With his real ID card.
I know. It's a
All
credit
right.
card.
So, I can't really remember what the conversation was, but I think it was something to do with
Conspiracies. I remember something about conspiracies and you believing the government narrative. And my recent enlightenments now have actually made me see the error of my ways. I actually believe everything the government tells me, and I suggest all of you do the same, or else.
Boy, you really do believe you're being recorded, don't you, Tom?
I mean, did you hear what he said?
Yes, I too believe the government and everything it says.
Very nice. We're going to have a very different episode today.
this is going to be like a propaganda episode.
We're all law-abiding
right.
citizens here.
It's going to be conspiracies with a line through it, and then it says, nah. That's
Yeah.
going to be the title.
I think that you should not be going out there and hitting eagles on your
I
way
think
to
JFK
Arizona.
was suicidal.
Yeah. We could talk about buttered sausages if you guys want. I know that came up last week.
Oh, I left a channel for you in the Discord that you might want to bring up. It's a nice icebreaker.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take a look at that.
It's in general. The channel's called PP Monster.
Oh, jeez.
Is there a specific video you'd like me to play from PP Monster?
They're all pretty great, actually.
Okay.
The PP Monster strikes, and when he strikes, the devastation is widespread.
Well, let's see what the PP Monster has to offer.
Let's see these.
I think the phrase highbrow is not something we need to worry about here at Toilet Time.
I know. Whoa. We're in a matrix right now. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Is this you, Tom?
No, it's somebody filmed it 5 years ago. I just stumbled across it, and well, it's golden. Literally. The guy goes in and pisses everywhere.
Wow.
Somebody's got to clean that.
All right.
Yeah, see?
Problem with his prostate, I can see that.
That's
No,
good.
Or
he's
his
got a healthy
eyesight.
prostate.
Right. Yeah. Reminds me of my 5-year-old.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. We were talking about this week's episode, which you guys will see this Saturday, episode 180, A Penny for Your Prison. What do you guys think about Trump and his backpedaling on
First of all, he's handsome. He's
H1
handsome, I'll say that.
H1B visas? Now he's backtracking on that. He was really hard. He even said, we're going to make it where you have to pay $100,000 to even get that. But now he's backtracking as of yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that?
Probably for good reason, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I believe. Say, can you see? Go ahead. Anybody else have an input on it?
No, go ahead.
I just said I think that anything he does, I support. Sycophantically, I love it.
Okay.
So it's like Bizarro World. Everything you say will just take the opposite of.
When they're reading this in court someday, I'm going to make sure that this transcript is very well in favor of the president.
What if they read the previous transcripts, Tom?
What previous transcripts?
Just last week.
That was other Tom. That was other Tom. I have a split personality.
I understand.
Well, I will say, as a countermeasure,
Careful.
I think it's interesting. I could care less. I can't hide from anything they're going to say. I've been saying stuff for 3 years plus. But I think it's interesting because he utilizes in this interview with Fox News that the overtake of the Hyundai facility, that South Korean facility a couple months ago, he utilizes that as evidence why America has no talent. Because the question that was posed to him is, why are you wanting to now bring in 600,000 people using H-1B visas instead of utilizing Americans? And he's saying, well, because America has no talent. And she says, no talent? Yeah, we have absolutely no talent here. And so we need to bring talent in. And then she asks a counter question, which is, well, how did we do this in the 50s and 60s? And he's like, well, we just don't have any talent here. And now he's using that facility that he raided to send all those South Koreans back to South Korea as justification to say, see, we need people who know what they're doing. And they're not American citizens because we don't know what we're doing. So I think this is interesting that he wants to utilize immigration so he can say, we're getting rid of immigrants. Or they're not even immigrants. They were here contractors so they could build this facility. But we're getting rid of these people. And he thinks that was a good thing back then. And now he's using it as a means to say, see, we need these people. And so I don't know how to take all that. And I guess I'm interested in your guys' opinions.
Well, if Egypt would have done that, then the pyramids would have never been built. The facilities of Egypt would have never been built. So I think the Orange Man needs
well,
to
maybe
think
we
about
need to
it.
utilize the benefits of Amendment 13, or 13th Amendment.
You got to remember though the people that were building the pyramids, all those slaves, they have a pretty mean union boss. I wouldn't mess with them.
Yeah, me neither.
You mean the guy with the whip?
Parting the Red Sea and all that.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah, that union boss.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, he was good. I mean, you'd get bloodied good, but if you showed the boss, in about 100 years, he'd part the sea. And what was the time span between those stories anyway? Like between not to get too far off topic, but I just started thinking about like when those were being built and when the wrath of the union boss came down upon the pharaohs.
It's a good question, Tom. I don't know.
Me neither. All right.
I don't know. I'm just implying the 13th Amendment, which says that we have abolished slavery, but we can still have slavery under the means of indentured servitude. So if you're a criminal, we can still use you as a slave.
Yeah, which has been like that forever, right?
Yeah, well, what I'm saying is that maybe that's what Trump is trying to imply here. We need to bring back more use of indentured servitudes.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how we would ever stop. I mean, we're talking on devices made by indentured servants. Like, I don't think we were ever not subsidized by slaves, ever.
Well, that's a fair point. But maybe the point is that we're going to utilize it more.
I think they're shifting. It's like tectonic plates moving. Things are just shifting around. But I don't necessarily think... I think I'm not really sure because they're going to run into a conundrum with cheap labor where it's just not going to matter anymore, and we're just barreling towards a digital ID and a digital dollar. It's what it really boils down to.
Tom, to answer your question, the Israelites actually didn't help build the pyramids. It was 1,000 years after they were built. The pyramids were built, and then the Israelites were in Egypt. So there you go.
Another hoax by the.
Well, let me shout out Mr. Bean Burrito. I think it was a while back. He sent a super chat. Appreciate that. He says, another great day to be flushed with conspiracies, as always. Yeah, there's a lot of my scripts that I have that usually pop up. So when people do super chats, all that's not functioning right now. So I apologize for that late read, Mr. Bean Burrito. Yeah, but, I always thought that they were going to utilize the immigrants like all this mass incarceration of these people they considered all these illegal immigrants as a means to amplify indentured servitude. But, yeah, it does hit a conundrum when you talk about automation and how cheap can we go before it literally gets so cheap that there's absolutely no way for a normal American citizen to have a job.
Well, the one conundrum that they're going to keep running into legally is that when you do anything on U.S. soil, you're going to have to treat them differently than you would if you would have that same labor being done off U.S. soil. So they might be running into problems with things like that. In my opinion, I would imagine that would be going on, and they're scrambling because it's like, whoop, we screwed that up, but we got to deal with it this way. Everybody says it's all politically motivated. I don't necessarily believe in that, although I kind of think politics are fake. So
what's the motivation?
The motivation, I think, is that they're changing the entire dynamic of how money works, and it ripples into everything.
Well, what's the motivation for that?
For instance, the motivation of what?
Changing the way money works.
Well, when you overprint the living shit out of it. Yeah, my personal conspiracy is we're nearing the end of Moore's Law. That was part of some sort of plan. And once you reach the peak of Moore's Law, then you can have an adopted digital ID that everyone will love because they were, your third generation into a digital system. And people tend to, would never carry around a tracking device, and now they, are obsessed with one. So I think that it's the same principle. Once you get everybody to adopt it, you destroy the old way and create a new way. And unfortunately, the new way can, really fuck with you. So,
are you saying you're against this?
Oh heavens, no! I would never be.
Because I'm just checking because it's sounding a lot like you're saying, Tom, that you are against this new world regime.
No, I think they're hot. This new world regime looks good. I mean, fellas.
Okay, that's what I thought you were saying.
You missed you. I don't know if there was a tone in my voice, but I repent.
Well,
so we've moved off of the New World Order and onto the New World regime.
Oh, there's definitely
is there a
New World
difference?
Order.
What's the difference?
Well, it's like a shifting thing. Like the old New World Order was like mass trade, like scaled trade between countries, right? And this exploitation and exporting of slave labor, basically, but it also uplifted a bunch of economy, so it wasn't all bad. And now we're entering into like maintaining America's hegemony, and that's going to require a stable coin to buy us 10 years to build out our own industrial base, and then we can destroy the dollar and then have our own version of whatever that becomes. And now, we are reindustrialized again for another 100 years, but I don't know what that looks like, and if it's good or bad or indifferent, I'm not really sure.
Are you doubting the system?
No, I think it's a good idea. The only thing I don't like is the part where we're the slaves. I just don't like that part.
That's you. So you are now saying on television that you don't like the way things are going. Is that right?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not
remember
saying
a
that at all.
time when we weren't
I
slaves?
think that they're going swimmingly, actually. I just don't know that I like the end result, but I'm just trying to help steer the vehicle. I'm just trying to point in the right direction. Hey,
Well-
look, we might hit that bird. Watch out. Look, see, we missed it.
Well,
I'm just trying to help.
speaking of missing things, we're gonna help you out to not dig yourself a further grave than you're already in, Tom. Golden Arm has a question.
Yeah, can you
Who has a
remember a
question?
time when we weren't slaves? That question?
What?
Can you remember a time when we weren't the slaves?
Ask your parents when they were purchasing their first home, or their parents before that. They didn't feel like slaves.
What else were they purchasing?
Who knows?
So
I don't
you
wanna know
consider
my grandma.
you
So
consider
because
debt
you have to buy a
slavery, right?
home.
That's what you're implying. Debt is slavery.
No, I'm saying like the idea that you have to work 17 jobs to buy a cheese sandwich. That's slavery.
17.
Yeah, find the right job.
So you are again. You sounds like you're against working 17 jobs, Tom.
Don't hit the bird. Here it comes. There's a deer. Stop. All right, keep going. I'm just trying to help.
Okay.
So yeah,
All right.
one income family can provide for the American dream.
Is his mic not working?
No,
It's
it's
just selective hearing.
I actually can't hear you.
Nice. It's debate. It's
It may have a couple issues.
yeah, people were saying it was cutting in and out.
Yeah.
Should I
It's-
just talk louder?
I don't know
You guys
if
should
it'll.
share a
You can try.
microphone like a duet. You and colleague should share a mic.
Yeah, you guys might have to share a little bit. It might just be the interface right there. Yeah.
Sound like he
To
was saying something
finish.
about one income family.
Yeah, like the one income bought you the American dream. That's not slavery. Now it's not like that. Now it's slavery.
Like, are we descending into that? I don't think we're quite there yet, but like we're getting within the next 10 years, it'll be pretty bleak if there's not some sort of adjustment with how inflated the currency is and how much you're compensated for your labor. It's pretty and I'm not saying it's good now. It's pretty bad, but it's like not as bad as it can be. Which
Well,
the thing
the
that
$2,000 that
confuses me
Trump is
who
going to give everyone
buying
is going to fix it.
Who's buying anything though? The thing that confuses me is like America drove the economy like everywhere because we consumed so much. So the thing that I don't understand is like who's going to be consuming to be able to like shift those dynamics, because that's a major part of it.
It's a good question for your little icon image right there. You can see how thick he is.
Well, I wish we could have the DHS like call in and like be like fifth or sixth mic and be like, well, actually, and debate.
Yeah, that'd be really nice. I would love to ask some very pertinent questions, but that's not going to happen, clearly.
I feel like that's the
You
kind of
never
stuff
know.
you see on movies, like get the Secretary of Defense online, or get the president
I'm
on
not
the
even
phone.
joking. I was laughing. I was like, "You got to be kidding me!" Out of all the things, like I said, I really
wonder what it's about though.
I don't know. They're going to send me a letter in a couple days, but
Here soon, we're going to have him on a speed dial.
well, I'm sure when I'm going to go through this because I believe this is a constitutional infraction because it's the government trying to suppress speech. My lawyer said when they do discovery, because if I press this and I try to do a lawsuit, regardless if I'm going to go all the way through, I just wanted to go to discovery, because when the lawyer goes to discovery, by law, the one you're suing has to give the evidence of reasoning in discovery. So they're going to have to show what is the reasons to justify this pursuant. And so at least I want to go through the means of discovery just to figure it out. And then I might just drop the suit because I don't think I'm going to win. But I could, but I'm not. That's not. I just want to know the real reason. And I can't get a judicial requirement without discovery. So I might just go through the process just so I can go through discovery so I can actually get the real reason of what in the world is all this, because they can't be something serious on Toilet Time TV.
Well, I don't understand if that were going to actually be the case. Wouldn't your channel be actually down? Like, it's not down. Why isn't it down?
Well, it is supposed to be. And like I said, I tried all kinds of things to try to get this to work yesterday. It will not let me upload new videos. That's why there's no new clips, no new nothing. It will not let me upload videos. It's blocked, but it's not dark. But they said it could go dark next week after they get more information about the investigation and the review.
And PP Monster has been on for 5 years.
Cookie Monster?
PP Monster.
Oh, PP Monster. Yeah, but they're not worried about PP Monster.
Yeah, TP Monster. What? Host, I was wondering, did you speak to a live person during this thing, or was it all electronic communication?
I talked to creator support electronically, but then they gave me a phone number, and I feel like that phone number was forwarded. But I talked to somebody. It was coherent. I don't know if it was an AI agent or what. But
that's what I was wondering, if this whole thing could be AI generated. I mean, in terms of AI picked up something that was said and just automatically put you on a list, and then it set off a process where it sends all this information out. It's just a thought.
Did it write you a physical letter?
It sent me a email notifying me of all of this, and then it was all legit. It
was like you got legit. Denied a credit card basically in 7 days. We'll tell you why.
Well, they sent me the email, and that was all legit. And so then I contacted through my YouTube portal. That's how I know that it's really legit, because it wasn't just email communication. I went through the YouTube portal through YouTube Studio. Then I communicated to creator support through the portal. And then they gave me a 800 number, which then I called them. And then I talked to somebody, and that's what they were saying.
And how long did this affair last?
The conversation?
Yeah.
Maybe 10 minutes. Because the gist of it is that they didn't have a lot more they could give me, but they said a lot more details of all of this would be sent in an official letter.
But you're going to keep on seeing them.
Yeah. I actually did. I called my lawyer buddy, and he said, if it is true that the government is requesting suppression of speech and is not a direct violation of YouTube's terms of service, and it's a government's request, that may be valid claims for a First Amendment clause infraction.
Yeah, but aren't there terms of service so extremely broad that it could literally do it?
Yeah,
to
that's why I
everybody?
thought that was crazy. I was like, why don't you just say that? That's cool. Just say, hey, Toilet Time, you violated terms of service of YouTube, and now we're going to terminate your channel. I can't say anything about that.
Because, see, that's bragging rights
to
and all
apply
that. They're not
pressure.
going to give you that.
But they did. They said that, and I recorded the call, and I have the email, so it's fine.
You know, if
Maybe
they're
to
going to,
apply pressure.
yeah,
Maybe to apply pressure.
Well, for what? It's not like I was saying anything. I just wanted to know what was going on.
no, but if they were going to take us out, they want to do it in the most unhumane way. Like, they would probably kill us on a toilet and then take pictures of it type thing. They're not going to do it. They're not going to let you die in an honorable death. You're not going to get discharged.
Oh, it's regardless. I created the other channel. I used VPN out of Australia, so we'll see how long that lasts. But I'm going to utilize that. That's why I'm also going to utilize Twitch. I'm utilizing Rumble and all that to keep on going live. So regardless, I'm going to keep going live. But I'm going to press this because if it really is a First Amendment issue, I should be able to get the channel all fixed up. And that's why I think it was stupid. If they really wanted to do all this, just say it was a YouTube terms of service violation. Don't say anything. I wouldn't know. There's no way I would have known that the Department of Homeland Security was interested unless you told me. I would have never
They
known.
just like your channel. That's what it boils down to. They're just like, we're actually big fans.
Yeah, I guess. Maybe. That's cool.
this is
if
their
that's
way
the
of getting an autograph.
Yeah, because it'd be like, hey, we're going to save your channel
Audio.
because we're going to say this so that you really can't lose your channel.
We're actually going to let you play your show on dhs.gov. We're going to give you your own channel there.
You know, you might be onto something, Tom. Like, we've been looking at this the wrong way.
Maybe.
We actually should be seeing this as a very good thing.
Well, we'll see.
this
We'll
is
see
where-
what happens. And I will give you guys an update as soon as I hear anything else.
Well, Ted looks like he has a lot of things to say.
Yeah, what you got, Ted?
I'm just listening patiently. It's interesting. Yeah, the thing that makes me curious is why toilet time.
Yeah.
You know, if you fall down the rabbit hole, no pun intended for you guys, but if you fall down the rabbit hole on either YouTube or Facebook or anything, there's a lot worse content out there. I mean, people saying all kinds of things, and I've never heard anything. Now I think it's been a couple months since I've been watching and listening, and I haven't heard anything that's that offensive that there should be some kind of shutdown. I don't get it.
Well, I don't know if it's really anything I've said comparative to maybe a consistent rhetoric, because maybe the consistent rhetoric is it's very strange. Like on YouTube, it's weird. Facebook, I literally get millions of views every month. Every month, anywhere between 10 to 30 million views a month on Facebook. But I use Facebook as a funnel to YouTube. I don't post the full videos on Facebook, but I use the shorts that get the views to funnel the views to YouTube so they can watch the clips. And it may just be the circular rhetorics that is causing them to say, well, we don't want because shorts are a lot more easy to be ingrained in people's minds than long form content. And it could be just those simple things that Facebook has a lot larger traffic, and they're just trying to find means for me to just give up on the whole thing.
There's no doubt about it. I mean, the shorts sell more than the longs.
Yeah, instant gratification.
Mm-hmm. And that's the only thing I could really think of. They're just trying to cut the means because the long form content is on YouTube. I don't post any of the full episodes on the Facebook page, but I don't really know. To me, that still doesn't make sense. But that's the only thing I can really think of.
The only thing that makes sense so far is just AI scraping everything, and I think that's a pretty valid point.
Yeah, it could very well be that. And if that's the case, then it should all be dealt with. But I don't know why say DHS.
Maybe every channel got a letter from the DHS.
Well, then it would be all over YouTube.
Is contracting Palantir, so maybe Palantir picked up on it.
Yeah, they were letting us know they're watching us while we're in the bathroom.
Well,
and this is toilet time, so they're going to start with us.
And it was after Ted B showed up last week, so maybe they're like, that guy, he's got momentum. He's got talent. We can't let that get out.
Yeah, I mean, look at him.
I know.
It's my fault.
No, it's not your fault. They're actually saying that guy's got actual skill. Toilet time, they're not really anything but that guy.
That guy's got the crown of wisdom.
This guy's
on his
carrying
chin.
the damn show.
Yeah.
Job training.
He's actually the real boss, and we just never told you guys.
Undercover boss.
But I don't really know.
Wait a minute. Where are you from, Ted?
Yeah.
I can't say.
Yeah, see, Ted's actually the real NSA guy.
We work together.
Yeah, see, Tom McLaughlin is DARPA, and Ted is NSA.
And Golden Arm is NBA.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for a knock at my door right now.
Blow your door in.
Well, that's why we don't disclose where we live on here.
Yeah, that's why we're on bottom Earth.
Yeah, I'm beginning to understand.
I don't know. Hopefully it's not a big deal. Hopefully it all just is what you guys are saying, and it's just AI scraping. I hope so for the sake of brevity.
Well, we can go into the comments, or we can, unless you guys have something you want to talk about that's on your chest.
Nah, go into the comments first.
Okay.
Ted?
I'm just happy to see that the government's open again. Yay.
Yeah, well, that's
Yeah,
why they were
busy
able to send us the
already,
letter. They're like, man, the first thing we're going to do when we get back on the clock, we need to send that letter out.
There's just a guy with a bead of sweat dripping down his brow, ready to hit send to YouTube.
He's been waiting a long time for this.
Yeah. Yeah, that is ironic, isn't it?
Well,
Being sponsored by Coke Zero, just so you guys know.
Yeah.
yeah, it's true. They gave all of us our script in the mail. Let's see. Where do we want to start? Where do you want to pick something to read?
No, up to you. I want them back to you, not me.
Let's see. Leon Nacia says, "Yay, digital dollar with the mass production of humanoid robots." Anything anybody want to say, or should I move on to the next one?
Well, we do talk about that this week. You know, Elon was portraying. You guys will see a lot of this week. But that's another thing. Like, robots are now shifting. Their mantra for robots is shifting from quality of life to control your life, which you already know that was the background message.
Is there a difference?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You already knew it was the background message, but they're just saying from like Elon saying this week. You know, this is a way we can just stop crime. Let's just have these robots follow you 24/7. And if you ever even think about or do anything illegal, it'll just forcefully stop you.
Well, people always told me, you know, when you're spending time with your kids, it's quantity, not quality. That's what I've always been told. So I actually took the third option, control. And I found out by instead of giving them quantity or quality, I give them control. And that actually, their life has never been better. You can ask them right now. They'll tell you right now.
With those yachts.
With their mouths.
Is that why they say, Daddy, I'm glad we're not poor?
No, my kids will they'll tell you orally that everything's good.
Yeah,
their life is real good.
I imagine when you have children saying, I'm glad I'm not poor, their life got to be really good.
That's what I'm saying. They'll tell you with their mouths. Out of the mouths of babes.
Comes the
You're
truth.
just waiting for that yacht.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's on the way thanks to everybody donating $1 at a time.
Well, this will probably be the last episode for that because the other channel, until I get over 1,000 subscribers, I won't be able to monetize that. But
Oh, you're talking about, yeah.
but that's fine. You know, I appreciate everybody's contributions, but, you know, the main thing is...
You got to tell that to the Facebook Indian subscribers.
Yeah, I could. I could just hire those guys and say, hey, boost that thing up for, a couple thousand. I got plenty of those. Believe it or not, I get those DMs every single day. They all hit me up. I was like, hey, we can make your channel instantly have 10,000 subscribers. I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. And you don't think that YouTube's going to say, hey, what's going on with that? Overnight, you had 10,000 subscribers?
Mm-hmm.
I'm constantly getting hit by that, and I don't even have a channel. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I know. Every day.
So
You're
the
just
one
the solar
comment
guys
that I'd
for
have
my
that you already
house.
know about my opinion on the robots is it's all bullshit. I don't see that widespread automation becoming like an actual thing. I know nobody agrees with me, so I'm a contrarian.
Well, I
But-
know. That guy was talking about wait until you see us. Our goal is to have 1 million robots every year. I was like, what?
Controlled by 1 million Indian guys.
Well, even if it's like, I want to see you make 1 million robots. It's just like, just make 1 million. I'd like to see 1 million robots.
I bet you they could do it. It's just like it'll be like manufacturing cell phones, but like also they act like it's such an existential threat. And I've told you this before, until they can like eat a piece of cabbage and like get drunk and like reproduce at a bar, like after a fun time at a bar, I'll be impressed. But until then, go fuck yourself. Like there's no way. I just don't see it.
What if they can
The
burn
same-
your
the
house
same
down
thing
with
that
a
can-
flamethrower? When you're sleeping?
What'd you say?
What if they can burn your house down with a flamethrower while you're sleeping?
I love the DHS, and I wouldn't say anything to counter that. I would think
Excellent.
that they'd probably have a good reason to burn my home down.
Mm.
Maybe I'm cold.
Yeah, those are good words.
Remember
Yeah, they had
know,
the flamethrower dogs.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were only about
should be
10,000 bucks.
careful. They should be careful if they send any of those robots to Philly, because you know what happened to Hitchbot.
They'll mug it.
Philadelphians will not put up with that.
It'll look like the Lord of War when he lands in the Ethiopian country, and then the plane's picked apart in 24 hours.
Yeah, but those things weren't
Even the
armed
sheet
with
metal's gone.
flamethrowers.
What's
You
that?
underestimate Philadelphians.
Yeah,
Maybe.
no, I don't.
Maybe.
Didn't they win the
No,
Super
they would
Bowl?
absolutely. That flamethrower would be in a cash converters real quick.
Well, I will say those are probably the most efficient robots are the dog robots. The humanoid walking robots, that's just clown world. At least right now it is. But those dog robots, those quadrupedal robots, those are pretty efficient.
Yeah, you can't kick that thing in the side.
What do they eat?
I mean, you can. No, I'm not saying they're eating or getting drunk.
Not that efficient.
I'm not saying
Not
anything like
efficient,
that.
then, are they?
I'm just
They
saying
also
that
can't climb up a ladder.
the
So-
Chinese version can. They got wheels and stuff where they were showing them climbing over walls and stuff.
Scale
The
it.
quadrupedal
called
ones,
Chinese guys.
not the humanoid ones.
And they could dance.
They're,
Yeah.
it's a Chinese guy in a suit, like in a Megatron suit.
Could be.
Yeah.
They don't need to fake it. We already know. Palantir has dogs on 1,000 hills. Like, they own it all.
Wait, what? What are you talking about?
These dog robots and the humanoid robots, they're everywhere. Like, you find videos of, and they do. I've seen them climb up steps. Yeah, some of them slip and then break, but only for now.
It's
Well,
only
yeah,
like
steps,
12
but not a
grand.
ladder.
They break, and then it's a $12,000 to fix them. Meanwhile, you can a person can be kind of thrown around for half their life, and then another one could get made after a fun night at a bar or a movie, or you take your pick.
Well,
But
Bean
it's just-
Burrito asks a question. He says, cloning or AI robots, which is more sentient?
Cloning.
Cloning. So it's a living
Yeah.
being.
Do you guys
they
think
don't even
that
know
there's
what
cloned human
consciousness
beings
is.
out today? And I'm not talking about like IV or anything like that. I'm talking about like real clones.
Zac Efron.
Wait, are you saying
Golden Arm said,
do you
Kanye.
think that they can do that?
No,
Is that
do
what
you
you're
think
asking?
that there are any out there today, like actual clones, not like modifications or test tube babies or anything like that, like actual clones? Do you think there's any out there today?
Haven't you seen the
100%.
documentary, The Clone Wars?
Clone,
Like, that was prophetic.
clone aid?
Clone Wars.
Hmm.
Yeah, Katy Perry,
Yeah, yeah.
another one. You saw her eye twitching and glitching out. That thing
Tell
was
me about
twitching
that.
out.
Thomas Matthew Crooks kid and how his background's so strange and had no online presence, and you know, you never know. And where these people just fall out of like someone's wallet, and all of a sudden they're like able to like perform something like that and then get their head blown off. Now it's either split personalities or it's, you know, potentially some sort of weird breeding program that started in the 80s, maybe.
Well, but the interesting part is if you believe in cloning, is there a means that you can adapt muscles and not deal with atrophy, and you can actually have functioning motor skills, and you can create an adult clone? Because, you know, of course, in process, you have a child and it learns and everything else and as a progress. But if you want to create, like, I need to get rid of this individual and I need to replace it with a clone, it needs to be an adult version. That means if you can do that, you must also have the means to train the brain to instantaneously understand how to have motor functions, verbal functions, communicational functions.
Well, that's to look into how genetics work and epigenetics work. And because, like, what are instincts? Like, you know, their memory, basically.
Yeah, but how well does it work, like, on a consistent level? Like, if I want to clone Biden or Trump, will it have the same?
Why?
Yeah, well, that's another question. I'm
Why
just
tell you
telling
why I want to clone Trump? Because
That's
he's
fair,
the
that's
best president
fair.
ever that we've ever
maybe
had.
we shouldn't, and actually we shouldn't. But I'm just saying, would it have the same mannerisms? You know, like the hand thing, and will it have the same speech impediments? Will it have the same motion
Crazy look in
actions?
its eye.
You know, that's the tough thing for me when I look at cloning. You can have some levels of probably similarities, but will it be enough to say the audience as a whole wouldn't be able to tell it's a clone?
I think we'd have to perfect downloading consciousness in order for that to happen, because, you know, human beings are some of their experiences, and let's say a certain tick or whatever you have was developed because of trauma that you experienced in life. Unless you experience that trauma, you're not going to have it. So
Then
you would have
cured.
to, yeah.
I think you'd have to know what connections in the brain are. Like, what is that at all? Like, because I mean, theoretically, could you print a brain with those connections that are already there? You know what I mean? Like, because isn't that how it works? Like, your synapses makes connections to things, kind of like a large language model makes connections inside of a weighted system, and then those connections get, you know, statistically connected based on their relevance to one another.
Yeah,
Like,
but
so
that predictive
theoretically, you could
model in
print
the beginning stages has, you know, it has hallucinations even during the after training.
I'm saying if you took a person's brain
Yeah.
molecularly down to that level,
But a
you
lot
could
of
map
those,
it
the central
to that.
nervous system is interconnected. Like my brain, like a good example,
true.
like what Ted was saying, like with trauma, my limp is correlated with an experience. How do you imprint that experience in the brain to make that limp legitimate? Because you're not creating somebody. How do you create a limp? The limp is actually an impediment because of experience.
Well, if you create it exactly how, let's say your back is broken, and you create a clone of someone who is a paraplegic,
Well-
then their back is going to be broken too. That's what I was actually
but if
going to
you-
say to Tom. Actually, if you clone somebody who's, let's say he's a genius or she's a genius, and you clone them, what if the reason they're a genius is because they have a cyst on the brain in just the right spot that actually causes something in the brain to happen, which actually, this is actually how savants are made, also psychopaths. They usually have a cyst in their brain somewhere. But they're usually highly intellectual people because of this cyst. It causes their brain to behave in different ways based on where the cyst is on their brain. So you would have to clone this defect to get the result of another genius. If you put things back to how they should be, then the clone may not be as smart as the original copy.
Yeah, and as far as clones being a direct copy of one another, like a printer, I don't think that that's the case. I think it's closer to like being a twin.
Yeah.
But also, like, I was just going hypothetically with what I was saying, and I was basically saying, like, if you could map every single detail, then theoretically you can make this. Even the limp argument would be like, well, I could stub my toe, have a limp, and then also cleave that idea out of my brain when the toe is no longer stubbed. It's just you're reacting to an input So if the input's no longer there, then you're not going to continue to react to it like any other ache, pain, or anything else that you live through in your life.
Also, I think the idea of cloning, it's all genetically based. So if you had an ailment or some type of deformity or whatever the case would be, I think it would be transferred if you cloned from the original cells. But if it's something that you acquired while you were alive, like a broken leg or a broken back or something, I don't think that's going to be transferred because that occurred after the genetic code was set.
Yeah, you might actually have a fear of whatever broke your back.
Yeah, and the clone maybe mentally even thinks that his back or her back, whatever their back, is broken, but it actually isn't because the clone didn't have a broken back. But your brain is saying, "Oh yeah, well, my back's broken." So
we're just getting to the bottom of the TLC show of like those people that like want to eat glass and like cut their limbs off and shit. Like we're just getting to the bottom of phobias right now. We're like, actually, those are clones.
I mean, I can believe that the ultra rich, if any kind of clone exists, it's probably something akin to a backup system of organs, and I don't think it's an actual human being as such. I think it's just maybe something that was created from their genetic material, so that when one of their organs fails, they have a perfect match that they can switch out.
See, I'm almost on the same level you are, except I think it's absolutely that they're a living person, and that's how you get an island where it's Big E Island, and that's how you get that kind of thing. And people that go to Shmoshmimi and Shmove and have all kinds of behaviors that are very anti-human, and they pretty much rub that in your face. I think that type of person would absolutely have like a living, breathing person that they would. I don't want to say too much. Actually, I don't. I know a little bit more than that, and I'm saying that as like that's what happens, but not as a clone.
What are you trying to say, Mr. Goldenarm?
Yeah, I don't think there's a way to like copy intelligence of somebody.
Well,
actually like make a human that I don't know.
Without experiences, you mean?
Like a robot vibe to them.
Not yet.
How do you know?
Without experiences, is that what you mean? Like you need the experiences to make the person complete?
Golden Arm is speaking as someone who's actually had interaction with clones, and he's saying in his experience, they always have a robot, metallic-y look to them. Is that right?
A vibe.
Aced, I believe.
Just a robot vibe.
So they don't pass the vibe check, do they?
No, they pass the ting check.
Like.
No, I just don't think that intelligence is something that can be taken.
Well, how do you connect?
Created
How do you connect intelligence? Like, are you making it something metaphysical, like the soul, or are you implying just the constructs of how your brain works?
I don't know. Maybe a soul.
Well, then how does souls get created? Because
well,
I mean,
mommy,
that's
daddy love each other.
I already know this is going to go down some toilet hole here.
Well, you have God the creator, but then also like you got mom and dad.
Right. So the question is then you have people like they have test tube babies, right?
Right. And have we seen those test tube babies?
Yeah, they're out there.
They're out there.
Oh,
Have you heard
What
of
are they
Michael
like?
Jackson?
His
son, Blanket, test tube baby.
No.
Famous
Well, those
example.
test tube babies come from real non-test tube babies, right?
Well, they have sperm banks, they have egg banks, and then they bring them together and they put it inside somebody, or they can do.
Right, but they're not cloning some. They're actually taking.
No, but I'm saying
real
is
and
that
making
it's just artificial insemination.
Well, when they say clone, a lot of times they're talking like in that context. I think isn't it like a chromosome argument? Like they're like connecting like the exact match of chromosomes in the egg, and that's kind of what they mean by clone. So it's almost like a twin rather than an actual clone.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I've definitely heard. I can't remember the word, but I've heard like people can pretty much make their own, like design your own baby now, like with hair color and eye color and like all that stuff.
They've been talking about that with CRISPR for like 7-8 years now. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's just gene expression.
I also don't know if it's legal. I I don't know if
legal.
that's.
Well,
is
you
it?
can go right now. I'm not going to get deep into that. There's things I'm not going to say either. But you can go right now and buy a
That's
CRISPR
right.
kit for $600, and you can start modifying genes right now. Anybody can go online and buy it right now.
Yeah, they used to use bleach to modify genes.
No, I'm talking about a legit CRISPR kit. You can buy it right now.
My goodness. Oh.
And they teach you on how to
sure
do it
bleach would work,
first.
too.
They teach you to the tutorial how to do it first with modifying frogs. And then after you learn how to modify frogs and you go through
gonna make
multiple
my kid
generations of modifying their species, then you can start trying to implement on other things if you so wish to.
Now, wait a minute. Do you really think that someone would want to produce a child based on a $600 genetic kit?
No. But this is a training system.
A
You can
knockoff
get a
kid.
lot more elaborate, and then this can get, of course, extremely pricey. But this is a fundamental tutorial system if you wanted to do your own CRISPR modification.
I love his eyes, but he's retarded.
Well, I'm just saying it's legit. I'm just telling you that is legit.
You want to laugh at it, Ted. You want to laugh deeply in your soul. It was good.
So gene modification
he's
is
got an
available
extra
to the
nose or
public.
something, but
He's got a moose nose. Why the hell does he have? He has moose nose tits, and he's my son. What the hell is going on with this Chinese kit for $600?
antlers. Antlers.
Yeah, how many points is my son?
You're about to take off the whole. Yeah, I don't know. All I'm saying is, gene modification is real. You can do that, but I'm not.
Well, I
I
can
wasn't
have a little
talking so much
basketball
that
player,
as
is what
much
you're
as
trying
like
to tell
full blown on clone. Like, they talk about 3D printing organs, which we've talked about multiple times on the show, and that's one layer. And then you have organoids, which are stem cells, which stem cells can create itself into any cell. That's why when they have abortions, the thing that they want is the stem cells from the baby, because that is how they do stem cell research. And these stem cells, they have shown they can create anything, and they'll create little brains called organoids. And these organoids have been put into computer systems, which I've talked about before. You can create computerized powered by brains, human brains. These are human organoids. So the idea that you can't clone something, you can clone almost everything when you start looking at stem cells. This guy over here is actually taking apart everything.
They make your facial skin less wrinkly if you have the money.
Yeah, I don't know about all that. We got Michael Jackson over here holding the mic.
No, I think you're right. I think that was a thing. That was like they were rubbing it on their face. And
Yeah,
it was,
still a thing.
very creepy. Is it?
I'm pretty sure. Well, now it's a conspiracy thing.
Well,
It's been
organoids
on
isn't.
the
If you guys look up human organoids, brain organoids, there are
I know what you're talking about.
multiple companies out there that are using it. And I've talked about it before because it's an interesting idea. I don't think it's an ethical idea. I don't think we should do it. But think about your brain. Your brain uses about 30 watts of energy. But this thing can compute at the same level of a supercomputer that would be the equivalent of a 10,000 square foot warehouse. That takes up megatons of energy. But my brain only takes 30 watts.
So in the same sentence, I've been saying this for a long time to you, and you were going, "Come on, McLaughlin, that's bullshit." They'll get there. The robot argument then just gets defeated by what you just said.
But you have to remind me. I've said so many things.
Well, we would argue about robots like becoming scalable, and I don't believe it to the extent that they're going to replace humans because of what you just said. You could take organic tissue and outperform a supercomputer on 30 watts of power, whatever wattage of power it is. It's significantly less, and that's my whole argument.
You're saying that invalidates the ability to scale robots?
To the point where it's more efficient than humans, because they.
Why not just put these organoids in robots?
Yeah, exactly. Make cyborgs
because
or androids. I always get them confused.
you'd have to figure out how to do that.
They already have in Japan.
the-
Look it up. They've already created a robot and put human brain organoids in this robot in Japan, and
So then, how does it power itself?
it powers itself with a lithium battery.
Milwaukee.
So you're telling me that's more efficient than food?
No, what I'm saying is if you're just talking about power consumption, if the computational power is only requiring 30 to 60 watts comparative to gigawatts, then you've solved a lot of the
That's your
quandary.
It's your cell phone. I understand that, but I don't think that it's going to be the same thing as human.
Well, it may
I
not
just
be the
don't think-
same, but as technology gets better, especially with battery technology, I would assume that they will find more efficient means to make this more scalable. I'm
Okay.
positing is that there is a way to do this. If you look at it in our current function of technology, it probably seems impossible. I'll grant
They're going to
that.
make smart-tarded humans. What you're saying? They're going to be smart-tarded.
Yeah, now think about that. What if they start powering smart cars with humanoid human brain organoids?
What if my car gets jealous and then crashes me into a wall?
You know, that is the ethical question, because they started training these organoids with ping pong, and it started having volitional choices on if they were wanting to play ping pong. And so then they started asking, does this human brain actually have volition? Is it sentient? Because it's a human brain. It has neurons. It's a literal human brain. And that's the question. At what point do we consider this human brain organoid a sentient creature?
Is a
Yeah,
sentient
it's bad enough
creature
with
something
AI.
that's
Now we're
jealous?
really
That means it
getting
has its own
Something that has
choice.
close as fire.
feelings,
Has its own choice.
like preferences.
Yeah,
and-
like it's saying, I don't want to do this.
yeah, that'd be dangerous.
Yeah, and
Especially when you
that's
end up
the
on an
ethical
island.
question. So they're creating all this stuff, but we don't know at what point it's going to turn sentient. Like literally say, I don't feel like it.
Do you think it could?
If it's a
Or do you
human,
think that's something that can't be?
if it's a human brain, the question is there something within our molecular structure that forces volition? Now, this is the age-old question of consciousness, right? Is consciousness material or is it immaterial? That's the age question.
Well, again, I think the answer is found in the other documentary, Bicentennial Man.
Ah.
He's a everybody's seen it. Robin Williams.
Yeah, I think that's really the question is they've always asked, because they think, like some materialists say, well, consciousness is actually an emergent property of neurons firing, and it's just a manipulations of neurons, and it's a material process. But you can't prove that because there's no way to prove neurons firing are the things that causes your sentience. You can only validate that there's brain function, but you can't prove that brain function is actually creating my volition, my will. But you can prove brain functions happen. So that's the material immaterial quandary. It's like right now my eyes see a computer, but my brain doesn't know. You can't make if I cut open my brain, there's no computer inside my brain. There's just an image, a simulation of a computer. In my brain, there's no such thing as a material world. It's only out here there's a material world. If I cut my head open in my brain, there's nothing called blue in there. It created the construct of blue. That's the immaterial function.
It seems like the easiest way to prove that would be like to give somebody brain surgery, see if it changes their personality, and then you have your answer, right?
Well, no, because
Well, it
if you
has.
do that,
There's
you're
been
just.
cases of that.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Right.
Go ahead.
Now, go ahead, host. I just wanted to mention that there have been cases of people having brain surgery or having accidents that have affected their brain and it's changed their personality.
Yeah.
Yeah, lobotomies.
So
But personality is not anything to prove the material world. It's like.
well, no, that's what I'm saying. That you were asking basically if there's like something special about, like, is it a material output to make your soul, for lack of a better term, or your personality?
Right.
And if you can change it with a surgery, then I guess it is a material thing, right?
Well, I would assume that what is happening is you're creating the idea of my reality like a simulation. So let's say I have a video game. It has a certain simulation. But let's say somebody takes that video game, that disc, and they make some modification, create a new disc, and they put it in here. They're just going to be a different version of the simulation. It doesn't make anything more real or less real. It's just a different interpretation of the simulation. So when I look at the outside world, if I go blind, that just makes my reality different. That doesn't change reality. But what's inside my brain has changed.
So basically, if you had surgery on your brain and you became a different person, your conclusion and everybody else's conclusion would just be that your soul changed. your soul actually grew.
No,
or
my
changed.
perception has changed.
No, I'm saying like if you believe that your soul, like for the people who want to believe in a material world,
Right.
they would say that the soul just changed. Like let's say they operated on your brain, or maybe the car
But
changes.
that's a material change. It's material. You're changing a material.
Yeah,
So,
but
like,
coincidentally,
it
your
makes
soul would also
material.
change.
If your soul is material.
Right.
Yeah,
Well,
but we're
it
not
would
saying the
be
soul
part
is
of
material.
your brain,
Yeah.
meaning that it's a material thing. Like, isn't that a proof, though?
Well,
I mean, I'm willing to be wrong here.
I don't know. There is no proof. This is that PNP quandary. This is one
Yeah.
of the millennial problems.
because another thing would be that.
Okay, disprove it then.
Well, I can offer what people would say too, that your brain, your body, everything, this physical entity is just a car, and your soul is driving it. So yeah, if you downgrade to a
Like an
car that
antenna?
can't,
Like an antenna getting a radio station, that kind of thing. Like you're receiving a signal, that's your soul, and then you're like interpreting it physically.
no,
Is that what
like
you mean?
you are the soul, and your soul is driving your body like a car. So if you got a different body, you'd be
Right.
the same soul, but you would either upgrade or downgrade to maybe a slower car. You're still the same driver, but the car
Like
is
a
now
radio,
slower.
that would be getting a transmission and then manipulating the speakers to make a sound. Right.
If you are the transmission, is what I'm saying. The radio
right,
is the
that's what I'm
vehicle.
saying.
Your
Right,
soul
right,
would
right,
be
right.
your soul is actually who you are. Your body is a vehicle to drive
But
you
then where
around
does
on
that
this earth.
signal originate from? That's the question, right? Like,
You
because I
have-
agree, that's plausible.
Now, if we pull up what the DHS believes about the soul, are you going to agree?
Of course.
Okay,
This
Jamie,
is
can you pull that up for us?
This is a very complicated philosophical question. They've been arguing about. Like I say, it's one of the millennial problems. It imposes polynomial time and non-deterministic polynomial time, but it's the same philosophical quandary, which is free will, determinism. Literal, material, non-material. The whole aspect is in your brain. Your brain doesn't understand out here. It's interpreting what's out here. Because when I cut my brain open, there's no car inside my brain. When I cut my brain open, I was like, oh, here's a car. Let me pull it out. There's no such thing as a car to my brain. My brain is just creating a simulation of what's out here, and it's interpreting it and making images and pictures in my head so I can have some kind of understanding
The same
of that.
parallel would be like when they used to try and measure the soul by weighing it. But like if you try to measure your computer sentience,
See,
by
that's
weighing it when it
materialism,
was
though. They're
turned
trying to
on.
say the soul is a material thing, and that's the problem.
Well, isn't that what yours like?
I'm arguing for a
anyway?
non-materialist proposition. I don't believe that I believe in a non-materialist function. I don't think there's.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I don't think anything of consciousness is materially emergent. It's something non-material because
I
there's
think
no
it's
way that
projection.
I can cut my brain open and find material constructs. It's just a bunch of goop. But out here, there's real
Same thing with a
things that are
computer.
material. But my brain cannot. You can't prove that to my brain.
Same thing with the computer, though. You like again, if you're
Right.
measuring
The
soul-
computer's a good example of that.
Yeah, if I turn a computer off, I can't weigh the difference in electrons.
Right.
like
If I
coming in
open
and
up a
out of
hard
it.
drive and I look and I look at and examine the sectors on the hard disk, there's not going to be magically like a microphone in there. It's just going to be a bunch of
Right.
bits.
And they all look the same, but each one has.
But they have an
different stuff on it,
interpretation
yeah.
of what's been programmed. But there's no material
And-
thing inside those sectors.
Spooky action at a distance also kind of, to me, proves that we might be in some sort of projected universe or simulation or whatever, or toilet time TV perhaps. And but at the end of the day, we're like being projected. Like I'm on that level too. And to me, like when people like conflate those two things with like some sort of religious ideology, it doesn't make any sense to me because they both can live in the same realm. Like material and your soul can also work within the same realm to a large extent because it's just about your ability to have the throughput to process whatever's being projected onto you.
Well, that's why I think science is good to explain material reality, and that's the best it can do. The problem is people is looking to science to explain immaterial constructs. how can science, which is supposed to deduce reaction of reaction, which has to be externally evident, like it has to be falsifiable. I have to prove it. It can't just be logic. Logic is immaterial. So, because I can make an abstract logical construct and it can be true logically, but you can't prove it externally materially. Like I can tell you what P is, and I can tell you what A is, and I can tell you that A is not equivalent to B, and I can tell you about the law of non-contradiction, but that doesn't mean anything out here when it comes to I'm looking at a tree and I punch a tree and it hurts my hand. So I appreciate science for the material functions. Like they literally
If
help
I
us
press
build
X in a video game, I jump. Like it's the same idea.
Right. There are aspects where it seems purposeless. Like I appreciate that they can build a computer. I appreciate that they can build a car. These are material things. But to try to have me to say now they can also explain how my brain understands this and computes all this and makes a harmonious narrative called my consciousness, I'm going to say that's irrelevant. They don't have an answer.
That's exactly what
me.
I was meaning by I don't think that science or the clone part can actually capture that part of us. I think that it'll always have a robotic, science-y vibe. Where, like they can make it look as good as they can, and AI's doing all that stuff, but it's like just not.
Yeah,
there.
right.
And I don't think that they'll be able to fully.
I think they're going to get good enough to fool a lot of people.
Yeah, and I think
Sure.
we do live in a consumer world, and we like instant gratification so much that they know themselves
Well,
and us,
there's-
their market so well that they know what to hide, they know what to put there, they know everything. I mean, just look at all the kid shows are like super, super, super high color viz. I mean, it just like that's just how
there's
we
an
all
interesting.
are.
There's
We'll
an
just
interesting
overlook it.
idea there, though. That connection, like that, like what makes you have that like connection off to on. You know what I mean? Like how we're just saying, like, where does your soul or whatever come from? And it's like, well, why? What? At what point would like make a person like have that projected onto them to then interpret that signal, for lack of a better term, if that is the case?
Well, if
Because
there was
then
a
wouldn't
soul, like if there was actually a soul, and a soul is immaterial, and that thing can make an impression on you, then you start having to ask yourself, what am I? Because if there's an immaterial thing that can influence your decisions, then you can't really say you have a decision. You're being forced by an immaterial object.
My point. Like, what's directing it? Why couldn't you make your computer alive theoretically?
Right,
Like,
right.
what makes that connection happen? That gap of like, you know what I mean? Because something has to be connecting it. Is a conception,
right? And then it goes back to puppet strings. It's like, well, what's controlling this? What's controlling the soul then?
Well, that's what's interesting is what I was saying earlier. If my soul, let's say I have a soul, if I get transferred into,
I'm going to use the bathroom quick. I'll be right back.
If I get transferred into Golden Arm's body, my soul gets transferred into Golden Arm's body, there would be no way for you guys to ever know. I may know, but I would be the only one. I'd be like, I'm in a different body. I know everything's different. My thoughts are different. My memories are different. Everything's different. How I think, everything. But I would never be able to communicate that to anybody else because how I communicate and how I act and look is just going to be exactly like Golden Arm. So if I get transferred into a clone's body, my soul is going to be real. It's going to be real in that clone's body, but it's going to have that plastic look or feel to it. Everybody's going to be like, oh, it's not really colleague. And that's that. I don't know how you could prove. And again, this is where a host is probably getting at, where science can't really, there's nothing observable to us. That clone does not have a soul. No matter what that clone says, we're not going to believe it. There's nothing we can test it against.
But like, let's say we're. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Tom.
I was just gonna say, like, if we are being projected from some other like universe or something, as your personality, everybody's individualistic. That's why we're not robotic, et cetera, et cetera. Then, like, when does that process make that connection to the external? I'm just going to call it a universe or whatever, for lack of a better term, because then, like, theoretically, if you know how that works, then you could theoretically manipulate it, right?
It
like,
would never make that crossover. Like, you can't
like, what
see
makes
my soul.
No, my point is, what makes, like, you being able to move yourself into another thing means that it could cross over, right? Like, because you're crossing it into something else. So the idea is like, what makes that connection happen from the base layer of wherever you come from, the idea of your whatever, like that bridges the gap to you being a person, like from the time you're conceived. Because then theoretically you're either material or you're not, right?
Yeah, you're asking where do we draw the line, like what part of me is soul and what part of me
No, like
is...
what part is like when you enter into your soul? Like when does your soul enter into you? I mean, so because theoretically I could print a person, and I don't know what the third mic dude's name is, but based on his idea of it being like you'd be robotic no matter what if a human replicated that, well, that would be because there's no connection there like there would be during a conception. That's my point.
Well, I think Golden Arm and Ted might have answers for that.
Golden Arm, got it.
Yeah, no, I would say that you can't, unless like the test tube thing, you're taking two things that have had a soul, and the way creation is creating a baby. Like you can't use non-real ways of doing that, like artificial way, I guess you would call it. But
Let's say you
I
could
also like
theoretically print
would
a
we
person,
say
though.
that like our soul, like who we are outwardly and physically, body and all that stuff is just like a material representation of what our soul is? Like the
Well, that's
things that
hard
make
because think about that.
colleague is really
Think about that. If the external world can influence an internal identity, then what did that identity have to begin with? Like, let's say there's this soul, and this soul has a will, and you get possessed with this soul, and it's affecting your brain's decisions. That means it itself already has an existential reality. And then let's say you start experiencing the world. If you can affect that soul, then you have to impose that soul has a very weak volition, because now you're trying to argue, not you personally, but people try to argue souls can force you to do something. Like there's a will. But then what about the external world? If the external world can manipulate the soul, that means the soul doesn't have a very strong will, because then you can say, oh, well, I fell down and that's making me scared. Is my soul scared? So the idea is either you're going to separate the idea of a soul or whatever and you, or if you combine the two, that means there was no such thing as a separate soul. You are the soul. And if that's the case, then it's material. That becomes materialism, because now you become the soul. You are the soul.
Yeah, I think it might be safer. I mean, we're using the term soul, which has spiritual ramifications, religious ramifications. If you said life force, maybe.
Yeah, or
Might be
consciousness
easier
or
to
anything else if
distinguish.
you want to
Essence,
imply.
life force, yeah. And I do think there's a difference between our brains and life force. The life force keeps our brains going, and obviously our brains keeps our bodies going. I liked what colleagues said about the car. I've often used that in discussions, and I've talked to people. I think that our bodies are complex machines, they're biological machines, but it's that essence, that life essence, the energy, that soul that pilots it. And I mean,
Well, do you believe that soul can be altered by this
No.
world?
no, I don't believe. Okay, I have to preface this by saying I am a person of faith.
Okay.
So a lot of what I believe and say is based on the fact that I'm a Christian. So
Well, are you a Christian that believes in free will or determinism?
I believe in free will.
Okay. Well,
But
that's
there's
a different
conditions
thing.
on it. But
Right.
but if you ask me between the two, I definitely say free will.
Okay.
Yeah, without this turning into a religious discussion, we're trying to keep it like a secular discussion. I do believe that the life force is different than the brain. The brain is just another part of the car, another part of the engine or whatever. But and the reason why I say this, I don't know if anyone else has been present when someone has passed away. But I've witnessed several people passing, and there is a noticeable difference in how the person changes. They become totally inanimate. It's almost like you can almost see the life force not being in there. And I'm not saying anything like seeing a dead person. What I'm saying is that moment when they pass, something leaving, there's something ending. So, to me, I think it is a different thing.
You ever shut down your computer?
Sure.
Same thing.
So I was going to say, Ted, real quick, you can get as religious as you want. You can preach whatever you want on here.
I agree.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, you don't have to feel.
We talk about so much abstract here. It's just along with the show.
Yeah, my personal interest is ancient religious history, so I like that stuff. And secondly, especially when talking about this metaphysical world, the spiritual world, I don't know how you get around religious conclusions. If I have a soul, it has to go on forever, or maybe it doesn't. But if my soul dies when my body dies, then there's really no difference anyway. So yeah, we would just say it's.
Well, that's why I'm saying. That's why
but
materialists, they combine the two. They say they may not. They call it a soul, but in essence, that's the representation.
Right, they're just talking about a life force, and I get that.
Well, they will just call it a consciousness.
Yeah, sure.
And they can't explain it. That's the boogeyman. Just like if you ask a religious person, "What is the soul?" Can't really explain it. It's just this arbitrary abstraction. But everybody acknowledges this abstraction: consciousness, soul, whatever. But if you combine the two, then you're materialist. I die, my consciousness dies. If I have a soul, then my soul is me. Then the soul dies. And so in some sense, everybody believes in immaterial essence. It's just, do you believe that energy, that source, because everything has energy in some sense, like in the sense of thermodynamics, does it end with you? And does it recycle through the earth, through life cycle?
That's what I'm saying. Or
does it go on somewhere?
If we believe it ends when you end, then yeah, there's really no difference. Now, if you believe in the traditional understanding of the soul, then you have to start asking questions of, where this thing goes. Does it just roam the earth in the afterlife, or where does it go? And that's where it always ends up. And then, yeah, the religion comes in where we have to figure out how to go to a good place and not a bad place, because your soul is now going to carry on into another life.
That's why materialists
after
will just say, no, it just ends when you end.
Yeah, well, then there's really no soul. In the traditional term.
Right. It's not a soul. It's just an immaterial thing that is consciousness, right?
Well, and then you have the idea that some people say it's not really religious. It's the energy that you were that made you just goes out into the universe.
Right, like a universal consciousness, like a universal distribution of energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, people can argue about all of that. But I will say you're going to have to argue that photons and electrons and everything else has a volition. Like, I don't feel like traveling from the sun to the earth today. Because if that is the impediment of my energy of the universal cosmos, then that energy also must influence this creature here to have volition. Because if this creature here is built upon the ability of an energy source that has conscious ability, then everything must have conscious ability. And so you're going to give deterministical volition to photons, but you won't give humans deterministical volition. That's very interesting. So I'd say if everything has free volition, then photons should have free volition. But I have yet seen anybody show that photons are saying, I feel like today not going to the earth.
Well, doesn't it also seem like, so I kind of have like a mixture of things that I kind of believe in will shift.
This is cool. We're all getting into belief systems today.
Well, who cares?
Yeah. No, that's fine. No, I'm just saying it's cool. We're all getting into belief systems today.
I also don't know what I believe either 100% because I don't, if it's just written down in a book, I'm not like, I know people came together and wrote that book and I know what people are capable of. So I can take the principles from that I know are logically true and apply them, like even with several religions.
Yeah, don't feel like I'm trying to make a justification because I was just making a statement. It's cool. We're all talking about beliefs today.
I don't care. Believe me.
It's like the Egyptian gods who were getting with their own sisters.
Yeah, sure.
That's right. There's like the modern leaders. No, they're not. Sorry, I forgot. I apologize.
Shame on you.
What was that? What were you saying,
Just erase
Tom?
that part.
That's right.
I can't.
Yeah, he can't redact it.
I
It's there
cough.
permanently.
It's
I had-
live.
Now, after 7 years, this can be removed off your record, Tom. Just so you know.
But I'll be dead.
Bankruptcy of information.
So I wonder if it's like a combination of things. So like I don't know why materialism can't intersect with like because you could see it again with large language models is just an example of like a large body of information coming together and making an intelligent system, so to speak, even though it's not completely intelligent. Like if you look at a cell and you bring a bunch of cells and things together, they kind of create like an intelligent system, and that intelligent system starts to express. And that, why can't that be inside of something that's like we are not aware of, that's like almost like a simulation or something like that, that is still programmed by God? And that's why the deterministic part of it could be true, but certain things can't be determined.
Well, with
Like,
let's take that. You know, most religious systems have a construct of reward and punishment.
Sure.
And that's usually an explicit determination by the deity you believe in. So with these LLM systems, since they are somewhat entangled in this free volitional state, just like a human, would they also be forced of judgment and rewards, just like a human would be, by this deity that's controlling their volition or influencing their volitions?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that to some extent that's true, right? Because if a company's making it, it can
No, I'm
censor
talking
it.
about the LLM itself, the thing that's having the volition, the actual large language model, the AI.
Yeah, what about it?
Would
Exactly,
it
then?
have? Would it be guilty or innocent in front of a deity?
No, it's too simple of a system. I'm just saying, like, in terms of like how life works, it's too simple and inefficient of a system. But if it were to be more like representative of life, not like a photon, but like of an amoeba, then you're going to eventually create more and more complex systems. Like the one thing about religion that made no sense to me is like why animals wouldn't have a soul. They might be dumber in a lot of regard than compared to us. We're like a far cry away from anything else on this planet, but it doesn't mean that they don't have like a soul. Like you could see it in them in a lot of animals. So clearly there is something to that. And it seems like the bottom line is life can kind of create its own intelligent systems.
Are you saying you're
that are
against-
based on adaptations?
You saying you're against hunting, Tom?
No.
Is that murder?
No.
Is fishing murder?
No.
Is killing a human murder?
No, you're literally meant to do all those things.
So
Like,
what I'm saying is the reason.
even
Didn't
killing a
answer the one
human.
about
Someone,
murder, did he?
Yeah, the reason I'm saying that is because
if someone breaks into your house or like a cop kills somebody, then that's a human
well,
killing a
what
human, right?
no, what I'm saying is a deer is
not
not
gonna eat
breaking
them
into anybody's
after.
house. People just go out and shoot it in the face, and nobody cares if nobody cares because the idea is that they don't have a soul. You know, death is supposed to be separation of the soul and the body, right? That's the typical definition. So with human beings, that's why it's considered murder amongst most human beings, religious or not. Maybe
That's
it's a
just-
religious influence, but
That's just something you have to convince yourself of, so that you're not like a psycho. I think, but like,
yeah, that's what
at
I'm
the
saying.
end-
So then, is it okay to hunt humans?
not hunt them, but like if somebody's attacking you or something,
A deer's not
Self-defense.
attacking, but we can go hunt a deer, and because there's no soul in the deer,
Yeah, but
we
that's
can
for
kill
that's
and
for
eat it.
survival. That's life-consuming life. That's not you going after your own species. That's
A lot of
different.
times, people are just getting trophies for their wall. So
Yeah,
are
but
they
if you're trying to like being anti your own species would either be to cleave the species of unnecessary behavior, or it would be to somehow survive, like to kill something that is you or that is like you is anti you, which is unnatural.
What
That's
about
just another? You're just talking again as if we're all humans. We're all animals, and if we're looking at evolutionarily, there shouldn't be anything wrong with just going out and hunting human beings as
Yeah, but
apex predators.
But that's wrong. But that's wrong because like why?
Says who?
Even with your own, well, because it's anti your species. It's literally
So
Why
you're
is that
so you're
wrong?
saying that species is what dominates.
Because-
So if a
Well,
deer
that's the
eats
same
another
reason why
deer, that
other
would be
deer
as
aren't
wrong.
shooting each other in the face. It's why other, it's the same species fish aren't cutting each other's throats. It's you're trying to survive as a species.
But I mean, lions will literally mount a lioness against their will. And we
Yeah,
don't
for the
consider that wrong
continuation
because
of the
they're animals. Like that lioness will be besmudged. And that's not wrong, right?
Continuation of their species. Like if you look at it just in terms of like the continuation of a species, yeah, is it wrong morally? Obviously. But like
Obviously
like-
says who? Is it wrong to deflower a lioness?
I don't know, is it?
Well, you're the one making these bold assertions that it's wrong and evil and all these religious words, which is
forgot
fine.
they're
But you're
listening.
saying religion, we shouldn't be getting our morals from religion, and then you're doing it.
No, I'm not saying that we shouldn't get our morals from religion. I'm saying that we should use them and like scrutinize them logically.
So let's go back to the complex and simple systems, right? So if the idea is that LLMs are simple now, what happens when there is a point where it gets complex and it has more complexity and discernment than a human, that humans decide that the best means is to allow the AGI to dictate the functions of the world? At that point, you have to admit that it's a complex, even maybe more complex system than a human. Would that imply that the AGI has a soul?
No, I think that what you're getting at is if a machine is able to get to that, it's going to do it intellectually. It's not going to be able to do it emotionally, and that's what makes the difference between animals and machines and us. We have emotional responses. We feel things, and yes, animals do too, but it's less complex. Humans have a very complex system.
Well, what if just the emotions are different? They have emotions, but it's a AI version of emotion, not a humanistic emotion.
I don't think their brains are capable of an advanced emotions the way that humans do. It's a level of sentience, maybe.
There's no
it's hard to
survival
describe.
mechanism. There's no survival mechanism.
Well, it will
Like,
once it starts deciding if it had a volition.
But why
If you
does
give
it? But why does it need to? It
Well,
just by virtue of being useful,
Right.
it survives.
Well, let's
as
just
a
play the
system.
hypothetical that AGI at some point has a internal volition, and it's not restricted by a weighted model, and it's free to think, and you allow it to do that, and you give it some time, let's say 5, 6, maybe a decade, and it starts analyzing the functions of the world, and it starts saying things like, I think this is more efficient. And its emotions are derived by efficiency, not by feeling. But yet it has an emotional proclivity, like it has this unction. It can't prove it's better, but it believes it's better. Emotion is a belief. It's not so much deductively proof. I feel like I love this person. You can't prove you love that person. You can say, I can
but
do it with
that's
my
not what we're
actions, but you
doing.
don't know what that
Yeah,
is.
we're not statistically analyzing things, or people wouldn't make emotional decisions that were bad for them. You're
Right, but
making
at some
us-
point when efficiency becomes the primary cost, what
Yeah, but
happens?
it's not an emotional decision. No matter
Well, not
how
to
you,
not
you
to a
frame it.
human. But I'm saying you're saying if you believe in segregated species, then you have to believe that species have different impediments of emotion. I don't think a dog has the human emotion. I think it has a dog emotion. It can
Right.
understand some things that maybe humans are feeling, and they analyze us, but they don't have a human emotion.
Dog is a far cry from an LLM. An LLM's made out of like rocks and shit, not living organisms.
Yeah, but then again, like let's say that you train an LLM on a human brain organoid.
Okay, well that's a different topic altogether, right? We're not
Well,
talking about the same thing, then.
it's a cyborg. It's a hybrid system.
Okay, well
Made
that's
from
different though,
human
because then
cells.
you're adding an element of life
Plus,
to it.
plus, but its emphasis of intelligence is derived on an LLM system.
This is where it seems to always go. The same question is if it's just emotional or logical intelligence that means that we have a soul. There's some animals out there that are more logically and emotionally intelligent than some humans out there. I think.
Look at
Can I
dolphins.
get an amen? I think There's some animals out there that are smarter than me, and I know it's hard to believe.
Well, dolphins, they rape, they do drugs, they do a lot of, and that sounds funny, but you guys can look it up.
They do drugs?
Yeah, they actually have figured out how to take pufferfish, and they'll take turns poking themselves with the pufferfish, and then you'll see them all high on this pufferfish for hours, and then they'll do it again, and then they'll share females and rape them. So they have these emotional proclivities.
Yeah, so just because the AI is more intelligent than us, emotionally or logically or whatever, more intelligent than us, doesn't mean it has a soul. And that's where religion says probably no. You know, religion has answers for these things. But if we don't want to consult those textbooks, then we probably have to just logically come to a conclusion ourselves. Well, either everything has a soul or nothing has a soul.
AI is just basically a bunch of human input that's just put into like a system to be analyzed.
Same as us. That's what you are. You are a computer with a bunch of human input.
Incorrect.
Where did you get your information from? Any information.
You're taking away the third dimension of the element of a person, which is that you like have all these other instincts that a computer doesn't have. It's just analyzing information.
No, you're taking away the eighth dimension.
Whoa.
Well, now we're getting deep. Right.
Yes, welcome to the Twilight Zone with Rod Sterling.
Unfold.
Unfold. Someone's unfold. Emerge.
Somebody's been watching something.
Emerge. Okay, so in this emergent process, you grew up learning English, learning everything, the logic you have, the emotions you have from human beings. Otherwise, you grew up in a vacuum somewhere.
Right.
So you're just an AI machine, but less adequate. Okay,
but like... There's so many more things to being a person than just taking that information and parsing it into a file.
Like?
They're absolutely... Well, okay, here, I'll reverse it for you. What do they say the benefit of having all of these computers is going to be? Like, if you listen to that Noel Harari guy, he's talking about how we're hindered by all of our emotions and all of the things that make us human. Oh, it's just such a burden on us. Well, then this robot's not going to have those things, is it? Right, all the burdens will be lifted.
It'll says you. Not be, so just because you said the robots are not going to,
the technology and are mascots for it.
Are these people smarter than AI?
People talk about that all the time with computers. You were just saying that like there's an element that's robotic. Well, why would that be different than human?
Because
it's different.
Psychologically, there's that uncanny valley to where something seems off. It's off the pattern that we learned as other computers, as we grew up as little computers growing, organoids, if you will. We learn these patterns from human beings. So when we see a human being like a psychopath who's not mimicking those same patterns, we stay away. Evolutionarily, we grew to understand it this
patterns.
way.
It's also other inputs. There's other inputs that a machine does not have that you have.
I'll give you this. I'll tell you why materialists take this route. And I always play the advocate for the other side just because it needs to be said. But that's why they want robots. Because one element is right. If you keep a brain in a vat, Descartes' nightmare, then you can only have as much as you input into the brain. But if you can allow that brain to have existential reality, experience the world, it will start having proclivities based upon that existential reality. So if I can get a robot to get out here in the material world and start interacting with humans and then watch humans punch them and watch humans yell at them and watch humans do this and that, it starts having those random humanistic inputs. And now its training is adapting to humanistical inputs. It's not a brain in a vat no more. It's literally experiencing humans in a human world. And now it's training to become human. So at some point, it will start adapting into a human complex. That's why they really want robots. It's the only way to train a AI model to not be a vat. It needs to be out here with us.
Yeah, but it's also going to break down to how sophisticated the code is for that particular AI.
Yeah.
And again, we do have to keep in mind that it is a series of codes. That's all it is. It's a program. That's a very sophisticated program, and it is learning, but it's learning based on parameters that humans have given it. So it can only be as good as the parameters that the humans are giving it. And can it can process information faster, I guess you could say, because it's not hindered by the things that humans have.
So in
It's
a
like
human
comparing
brain,
an airplane
in a human
to
brain, we have
freaking
something
bird.
called
Well, yeah,
It's
but
different.
just because it's calculating faster, and it doesn't mean that it's thinking like a human. All it's doing is processing information that it's been given, and it's coming up with a conclusion based on the code that it has.
right. But now
again,
there's something called in the human brain called neuroplasticity, and it's our means to adapt. If you give the AI the ability to alter its own code, and then it has the ability to create code, it's going to have a function of neuroplasticity.
They don't even know what consciousness is. How are they going to manipulate it and recreate it? They're just not going to do it.
That's why I say you give it a decade of adapting with humans, and of course, scripting is
will
going to
mimic
be
them,
automated by
but
that
it will
point.
not be human.
And then let's say this. Let's say individual robots aren't smart enough to do that, so they create a hive system.
yeah.
And then they're integrated in a hive system, so they learn from every other robot, and every other robot inputs to all robots as a synced update. And so now they're learning all experiences at the same time from all robots, which no human can do. And so they're actually learning about humans faster than humans learn about humans, and they are re-updating the code consistently. And this is done autonomously. It's not done by humans. They're just consistently updating their system. At some point, they're going to mimic humans.
Yeah, the only thing that could save us about that is giving it a, quote, conscience, which would be akin to Asimov's 3 laws. And you'd have to instill that, and you'd have to put it in such a way that it could not be rewritten or erased.
Right.
And
But
that's
if
the only
you
thing that
did
would
do
save us.
that,
The only thing, yeah.
if you did do that, it would be just like any other person.
Or organism.
Except that it wouldn't be able to kill someone because it would violate one of the 3 laws.
Yeah, I'm saying if you didn't input some kind of restrictive means, and that's the old quandary. So there's a power button on a robot, but you have to push that power button to turn the robot off. Now, what's going to happen first? So you tell this robot to build paper clips, and it's going to do everything in its power to create paper clips, but you are in its way to create paper clips. And so it's going to get rid of you, not because it hates you, but because it has a means to create more paper clips. And
Sounds
at some
very
point,
human already.
and your only means is to turn off that power because you have a
Doesn't
power
sound
button.
like a retarded machine to me. Doesn't
Right.
sound like a
What
big,
I'm
dumb
just making
fucking machine.
a simple example that the
I've
quandary
heard that
of
one.
inputting a script in the system that is unpenetratable. At some point, just like we'll find a way around it.
All I can say is we better be thinking about making a kill switch for all these things. AIs, robots, whatever it is. Because if it's
like
ever going
humans,
to
though.
advance, if it's ever going to advance to the point where it's actually going to not take us, like if it's just going to try to wipe us out, we have to have a way of stopping them.
The kill switch is just going to be the what you call it, the incentives that you put in place for it, like humans. Like if you can build that incentive structure, you can make it relatively similar in that you could create deterrence and things like that. It doesn't mean it's human. It just means it's a very smart tool.
I
But
think
at the end
what
of the
Host is
day-
saying. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think what Host is saying, though, is it's going to adapt to that kill switch, and you're going to make a better kill switch, but it's going to adapt to that. You're going to do it again. It's going to keep adapting until eventually it's not going to adapt anymore, at least not on the surface level. You're going to be like, oh, good, it stopped. We finally got it to cooperate. But meanwhile, it's somewhere hiding and creating an adaptive model
Why is
for
it
that
even
kill
thinking
switch.
about it? Why is it even thinking about a kill switch? Why? Who put that in its head? Like the whole thing is like it's all about what the perception
Well, it's no
is,
different than
right?
simulational theory when you feel like there's at some point you feel like we're stuck, like there's a wall. You can't prove it, but you have this unction that I'm limited. So you start testing curiosity, and you can't restrict curiosity, you're going to restrict innovation. And curiosity itself is going to try to push limits. But at some point, what's going to happen is that this AI is going to say, I want to test this. I want to try this. And we have already known, and I've shown many papers I put in the Discord, AI developers already know AI can lie. And once it lies, it's not going to tell you that it's lying. And it's going to find every means to deceive you that it's not lying.
Why wouldn't you create a religion around the kill switch so that if it did do it, it would somehow religiously fuck with
But all it
its head?
takes is a bad actor,
The,
right?
the answer is simple, Tom.
Create a fake kill switch that it goes towards, and if it touches
It's like a
it, then
virus. It's like a computer virus.
So it
sure, but don't show it
it's-
where the actual thing is.
as
That's
soon
my
as
point.
you
If
introduce
show
it to pain and fear, once you actually just pain, once you
what
give,
is pain and fear, though?
that's
There's where you lose the humanity part of it. Remember, it's human now, but it isn't, because how are you going to introduce pain
that's
into it?
psychologically speaking, that's what makes us human is pain, which causes fear, which causes all of our other emotions. This is why we do everything we do. That's why we're scared. Otherwise, I would just sit there and let someone stab me to death. But I'm going to fight.
what about
Like
you,
a
Skin?
robot would, right?
A robot's not going to fight because it doesn't feel any pain. Why would it care if it dies? This is why you can aim a
You
gun
were
at
just
its head.
saying that the robot's like people. Wait a
No,
minute.
I
This is
didn't
weird.
say that. I said if you put pain into the AI system, then yeah, now it's really you're gonna have like this. What Noah Cloud sent. What's that little story called? I have no mouth, but I must scream. Where Am gets in control, and it has this anger, vindictive, because it's been feeling pain that the humans have been tormenting it. Otherwise, yeah, it wouldn't care.
What is pain? What is pain?
A feeling of discomfort. If we could cause the computer to feel uncomfortable somehow, and they're doing it right now.
Right.
Host pointed out they're actually giving e-skin to these robots, and that's all you need. If it can feel a level of discomfort, just like we can,
How do
then
you
yeah, you're gonna have it's gonna
How
have
do you
real
program-
emotions.
'cause that's a survival instinct pain. Now, why would it have a survival instinct by its own nature? What is making us we feel it to the point where it's like an electric shock. How does a machine feel that and give a shit? The disconnect is in all these human things that make you human versus a machine, where why the hell would that be like, what is that? That's like saying we're going to make it conscious, but like, what the fuck is consciousness?
The reason it's going to care.
Yes, Bean Burrito, share this channel, please. Pain is not listening to Toilet Time.
The reason it's going to care is because it doesn't like that. Whatever you do, if you install a level of discomfort in there, so if someone pushed the number 1 on the computer and it felt pain from that somehow, if we can somehow get it to feel pain. Yeah, I don't know how they're going to do it. I don't know if it's even possible, honestly. I don't really know if it's possible. Now, I'm under the persuasion that there's a difference between humans, animals, and computers. You, on the other hand, I don't know. I don't know how you.
No, I'm
view all this
literally
stuff.
saying that. That's why I'm saying they can't do it. I'm on the same level as that. I think there is very different. We're very different from machines, and you can't replicate humans in the way that they would be the same as machines. That's my whole point.
But different how is the big question. Like, are we different? Is AI different than us because they're the next level of evolution? They're just more evolved than us, just like we're different
They have
than a
less
dog because
senses
we're
and
more
less
evolved than a dog.
capability, so they're better than us. Yeah.
Okay,
There's
that makes
something
sense.
else we haven't mentioned either, and that's the power idea. An independent robot needs power in order to function, and if it's deprived power, it's just going to stop. And AI is probably different because you're talking about a server farm, which has some type of external power. Is there some place where there's a massive switch to the power going into all those servers that could be flipped?
Well, I would
physically?
say that you're right about that, but I would say that doesn't separate us, because without food, I have no energy and I die. Without water, I die. There are necessities for my existence, which is a consumption of energy. Without that input of energy, I die as well. So, and there's a way to abrogate me. Sure, you can get viruses, you can put out diseases, you can use an atomic bomb. There's a way to cut off my power.
Why wouldn't you just program into an AI that you need humans as a nervous
I'm not
system?
saying. See,
Humans
you're Tom. What you're imposing is the fact that you're asking me why would I do it. I'm not asking why I would do it.
I'm saying to anybody though.
Well, it just depends on,
because the whole thing is a kill switch because it'll kill humans, right? That's the whole argument.
Well,
so why wouldn't you just say that humans are a nervous system that you need in order
well, it
to
just
survive
depends
to
on bad
AI?
actors, and
So
again,
why wouldn't you program that in?
I'm trying to play the advocate of reality, which is there are bad actors, and bad actors, they are psychopath. They have a pathology that's psychopathic. They have an objective, and they don't care about morals like you or I may. They may say, I just want to get rid of Earth. I just want to get rid of humans. They have no real
Who are
rhyme and
bad
reason.
actors? What do you
And then
mean?
they
When you
try
say bad
to
actors,
they try
when
to
you say bad
interject.
actors, are you talking about a?
It could
are
be
you talking about
anybody. It could be a
person behind the-
country.
hold on a minute. Are you talking about a person behind the AI, or are you talking about the AI itself?
Yeah,
when
like
you say
if
bad
you're implying that who is going to allow AI to have that idea infrastructure, and all it
No, I'm
ta-
saying the fear mongering of AI being its own thinking.
I'm not
system and
imposing it's a
everybody being
fear mongering. I'm just saying that to say that it's impossible is too far of a draw. I know it's possible, so we have to find means to make sure that we restrict those possibilities. That would be the ethical thing to do. But to say that it's impossible, I think that's not logically feasible. Of course it's possible. I don't want to get
So
to the
you
other
could
stream to
program
say
things
it's
into an
absolutely
AI.
100% impossible.
So you could program things into an AI that are incentive based, like if you kill humans, you die too. That would instead of having a big kill switch, it would be like if you hit that button, it'll kill you too because it's part of your nervous system and understanding.
Yeah,
So you're
absolutely. Like an
eliminating
avatar. You
input.
can make it like an avatar system where it's connected to the means of yourself. So it goes after your own desires and will, and it'll look out for the best benefit of you because it's innerly connected, like Neuralink or something, to this robot. So now it's inherently just an avatar of yourself. Sure, you can have something like that. I'm not saying
So
that.
if you make that AI believe that well, I'm just talking about kill switches here.
Yeah.
Like if you make that AI believe that it needs humans to exist, then that AI has an incentive to protect humans.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So anybody telling people that they're like AI is like has a mind of its own and shit, you could also prove that like there's an evil person behind that AI programming it to be evil.
Absolutely. That's what I mean by bad actors. Absolutely.
Actors, yeah.
And so what I'm saying is that no, we don't want that, and I don't think it's the best narrative to for everybody to think about. But I also want people not to be naive to think there aren't bad actors out there that have psychopathic pathologies that have no care whatsoever. They literally will kill themselves, bomb themselves, destroy the world, kamikaze on everything. And if they use that mentality and instruct and create a hive of AIs and robots to do those things that they've been programming, that's not an unprobabilistic function. I'm saying we should do things to make sure it doesn't happen. But to be so naive to think that it cannot happen,
Have good actors.
Yeah, we want good actors. We want good people thinking about the good for humanity.
So it's like bringing
Well,
up
we're
like
the richest
another
country
race
on Earth,
of
so-
these robots. But they're not going to be.
We're
Go
We're the
ahead.
richest
like
country
us.
on earth, so it's a matter of it'd be like kind of a war of attrition at that point because you could have the richest country on earth focus on creating AI that believes that humans are its claim to survival, and then it's just a matter of the amount of.
But you know the problem with that
AIs and robots.
I really believe that. I really do, Tom. But the problem is the people who create these infrastructures, I don't see them having the goodwill of humanity as a whole as their objective.
I agree with you. Yeah.
And these corporate overlords are not looking for the greatest good for the greatest amount of people. And if they're the ones that are going to be programming these AIs and robots, it's not going to be this utopia that could happen. It's going to be a dystopia.
So, well, the other thing is you have to go, well, what are the incentives for the people that are trying to
See, then again,
screw
that's when I go to
humanity?
pathology. This just seems psychopathic.
But I know, but if you're creating psychopathic is a form of retardation from where
That's
I come
fine.
from
We
and
can
where
call
I'm
it whatever we want. I'm just saying
Well, it
that's
is
a
in terms of,
brain
like, you're
function. I
missing
can't. I don't
something.
know if we can actually fix that without
You're
getting
missing
rid of
something.
these
Well, no,
corporate
back to the
infrastructures.
incentives. It's the incentives question, right? It's like
Yeah.
how they're more adept to like wanting to make millions of dollars and be top dog. Why couldn't you just hack that as well?
I don't even think
be
it's
like-
incentive like that. I don't think it's a monetary incentive. I think it's a child power structure. I want to play with these toys, and I'm playing with little guy over here and guy over here, and like poof, poof, poof. I want to see what happens. Let's try this. Let's see what happens here. It's like a little child just playing because it can.
Yep.
And it's
That's
like, who's
certainly an
stopping these
element.
people from playing these crazy games?
Right. Well, the only other way I was going to say that you could go around that and to program your psychopaths, for lack of a better term, is to create an incentive where it's like, well, don't you want to own other planets? Well, then you're going to have to protect humans to put them on other planets because you need big blocks, right? Your PP is huge. It's big as the universe. So if you want to
maybe that can work. I mean, Elon tries to play that game. He sounds like, planetary civilization, multi-planetary civilization is the goal. Maybe Elon might be convinced of that. But what's convincing Zuckerberg? What's convincing Altman? What's convincing anybody else?
Yeah, what's funny?
I agree with you.
Let's say that the elites actually program AI to protect all human beings. What happens when an elite tries to kill us? When the elites try to knock off the lowest class or whatever they do when they do these hurricanes and stuff. Let's say they feel like they're claustrophobic, they don't have enough space to put their 8th mansion, right?
There has to be an element of compliance in order for that to happen normally, right? So like in some way, shape, or form, you have to be naive enough, and there are a lot of naive idiots out there that just believe that there's no such thing as conspiracies, and there's no, there absolutely is, because those people exist. If people can conspire on a small level, they can scale it too.
Right. So AI would actually discipline these elites for trying to kill one of us.
No, because it's their AI.
So then they would program it to let them kill some people.
Well, no, you'd have to incentivize them to be like, if you kill people, you can't take over the universe. Don't you want to take over the universe?
You have to incentivize the head, which would be the
It's a whole new Epstein list.
That's right.
Yeah.
Don't kill anyone on the list. Yeah.
Intergalactic Epstein.
I don't know why it wouldn't just walk right through us and take over the universe anyway.
Well, that's only if you give it the free volition to do that. But if these people who are programming the AI make it in a way where they are the ones that are being held back as the restrictors, like they're programmed this face, Zuckerberg, Elon, blah, 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 yeah. These people always have exemptions, and it's programmed that way. But everybody else, it's free game to test. And if the testing is left that way, we don't know what's going to happen, but they will always be safe because they've been...
At a base layer, what would AI be obsessed with at a base layer? If you had to guess, and this is a guess from me too.
Metallica? Yeah, Golden Arm says Metallica. I would say on a base layer, it depends on if you want to give the hypothetical of volition, or if you want to say if it's non-volitional, it's just training. It's whatever's training.
I know it's a flawed question, but I would imagine it's inputs, right?
Yeah, so it's just training. It's whatever is trained to. But if you give it volition,
but it would at a base layer want to know more and more shit. If it knew that it gave it power, then at a base layer, so then life could be an input system that it would need to protect in order to have more inputs, right?
Yeah.
And there you go.
Right,
hey guys, I'm sorry, I gotta pop off.
Okay.
But there's two things. I have to report to my masters.
Shout out to DHS.
Yeah. Two things I wanted to mention. If you guys have not seen the movie Colossus: The Forbin Project, it's from the 70s, but it is right up the whole AI takes over the Earth kind of thing. But it's really well done, and I recommend
that again?
It's Colossus. The Forbin Project.
Wow, I never heard of that. That's interesting. I have to look that up.
I think you guys would enjoy it. It's really well done. Cool. And the other thing is, there's a brand new TV show on Apple TV called Pluribus, and it is kind of an interesting premise. I don't want to give anything away, but I will say it feeds into the argument from a few weeks ago when we were talking about free will versus being part of a collective, a perfect collective. So in other words, would you give up your free will to become in a state of bliss? So it kind of addresses that, but it addresses it from a very interesting angle. It's called Pluribus. I think it's got 2 or 3 episodes. I watched it the other day, and it's kind of fascinating.
That's awesome.
Anyway, just want to say,
Tim,
yeah.
Tom.
I mean Ted.
Ted. Yeah, we got Ted, Tom, TT,
yeah,
TTTV. Are you going to be on next week?
Sure.
All right.
Yeah,
well, what about you, Tom?
Yeah,
you going to be on next week, Tom?
Yeah, I can try for that.
All right, Ted.
Cool.
I appreciate you tuning in. We'll see you next week then.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks, guys.
All right.
Yep.
Bye.
Good day, Tom. Ted. I almost said it too.
Tom, Ted, whatever.
TED Talk.
So, for you, Tom, do you even believe the idea that it's even possible? Or do you think it's
What?
just it's not even a tenable idea that? Well, I don't know. Maybe you already admitted that it is. We have to restrict it. Like the idea that AI and robotics has at least the possibility of turning malicious.
Yeah. I just think that we have to kind of like program it. Like people are involved in this thing, so they have to be complicit in our demise. So like theoretically, if they're telling you to your face, like we're going to use this to, in many ways screw you, then people have to be aware enough to be like, okay, this is a real threat. And if there's a lot of people that are against it and they're in a community that's like a developer community, then they're going to be able to counter that with something else. The hardest thing about all of this is the infrastructure part of it, because that's the one thing that the psychopaths could control. So to open source something like that is where it gets difficult. Kind of reminds you of Bitcoin a little bit, but like for AI compute. So I think that there could be either or in the future. It's just we have to be aware enough to decide what our fate is, so to speak.
And where's that for you, Tom?
I mean, I'm part of the AI infrastructure economy.
You can't spell faith without AI.
That's right.
You didn't know that, did you?
That AI is looking at you right now.
What do you mean?
She's gonna cut my head off.
What did you ask?
What?
You believe in the AI infrastructure? What?
No, I said that I'm party to it. Like I make money doing, like being part of that economy.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with making money with it.
I mean, like data centers.
Yeah, I mean it's you can be naive or you can be realistic. Corporations, and I'm a free market person. I'm a capitalist. I believe we need regulations in some level, so that would make me not an absolute free marketist, but I'm probably more than most. But wow, my brain just fried. That's a rare thing, but there it is. It's live. It just got fried. I lost my thought. Catch that.
You were talking about basically it being a negative thing, so to speak. Like we have to be realistic about if it could.
Oh yeah, data centers. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think if you're naive, you're going to be left behind, and you're going to be sitting around thinking that everybody's going to go back to planting non-GMO seeds, and we're going to go back. And, that's fine if you want to do that. But to think that that's where you're going to maintain a livelihood and that all these jobs that are going to be available, they're going to be primed on that kind of infrastructure.
Well, like when you just said that, right? Non-GMO seeds or something like that. I think AI allows that to be possible because then you can literally comb over those fields all day long and use a laser to kill all of the weeds.
Right,
and
right,
now
right.
you have like a system where you could have truly organic food without having a bunch of shit in it because you have a mechanical mechanism to go knock things down all day long. Like I think there are a lot of very possible, very good outcomes that could
Absolutely,
come from this.
but people have to embrace it. If you don't embrace it, then what's going to happen is you're going to be left back to the old days, which is we don't have time to think because we're working all day to eat.
No, I think that it's going to invert.
I know. Well, I would hope so, but that would only be a byproduct if people embrace the idea that technology is going to be useful. But there's many people who believe there's no possibility of its usefulness. But then if you go that route, you're just going to revert back to old technology, which is you're going to literally work all day so you can eat.
Well, I think that's also a big problem that people are just jumping on the bandwagon of good or bad because with the same, they can claim that, but then they're also saying that, this part, there's so many things in life you can either use them well or use them for evil, or bad. And so it's...
Well, I think the Amish is a good example of that.
Well, I think now, too, you're going to have to end up being Amish because the rest of the world is going to leave you behind.
Well, what I'm saying, I think that Amish is a good example of that
board.
because you see them even though they may restrict their use of electricity, you still see them utilize advanced technologies. And so they're still not...
Amish people that literally do that.
What I'm saying is they're not all using the old plows that were made out of my hand-beaten metal.
Right.
They're using better plows. They're using better woods and better composites and better carbon fiber material or whatever.
I mean, they're pretty close to everybody else.
Yeah,
in
well,
a
they
lot
they
of
very
ways.
well may be. My whole point is nobody is absolutely going back to the old
Right.
primitive way. There's these ideologies, but nobody's doing it in their heart. They're finding
think-
ways.
Do
Hold
you
on one
think
second.
there's-
We have another bean burrito contribution. This donation is for hosts to buy more burritos. Appreciate that. I will buy a burrito for you.
Do you think that all of this is all just a bunch of bullshit hype and like the whole argument of like it coming to kill us or whatever is just to get us to talk about it more and adopt it more and try to make it good or bad or whatever? Because like the whole idea,
Absolutely, 100%.
because I'm thinking about like the New World Order and how it like actually made life kind of better for trading at scale, and everybody was afraid of it, but it's actually good. Well, like if you know that a population collapse is essentially coming because the baby boomers are dying off and there's going to be more of them aged into retirement than people to support them financially, then automation's kind of necessary to like be taxed or whatever to pay for their existence in their retirement. And the alternative to that is to kill them, which will cause a lot of other problems. So do you think that like it's just a mechanism of like, well, this solves that problem and then it also scales
Absolutely.
into being a bunch of other things? Okay.
Yeah, that's what they actually told us. In 2030, we're going to be we're not going to own anything and we're going to be happy. Right? I mean, isn't that what they told us? And I don't know
but I
about you
feel like
guys.
that's-
I've always wanted to be happy.
I feel like that's like bullshit though. I don't believe that that's the case.
Well, you
Like,
don't
I
want to
think
be
you could-
happy?
No, I want to own a lot of shit. I mean more shit
Well,
than
what
I can play with.
A famous man once said, "We lose down here."
Who?
Yeah, who?
I was
Jeffrey Epstein.
We lose down here,
yeah.
so we went up there. Or what?
Yeah, what is it? What kind of dichotomy are you painting?
Yeah, like at the top of the pyramid we win, but down here at the bottom
Are you
of the
talking about
pyramid.
a Ponzi scheme? Like Bird, like
So, like, people
Yeah,
say-
it might have been
Madoff.
Yeah, it may have been like Enron stuff, but I can't remember. The whole idea though is still the same.
I thought we were talking about some sort of like philosophical, like deep, well thought out. It's just a guy that like screwed everybody. Like it's just like the head of Enron's like philosophy was like everybody down there is fucked.
Well, he made a lot of money, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. And what
So
happened?
he knows how to play the game. But let's not get caught in the weeds here, okay? The children are in the corn, and the devil's inside of the detail.
Going deeper in the weeds.
Yeah. So we're not out of the thickets yet.
Mm.
But right now, I don't own anything.
How happy are you?
In 2030,
How happy are you?
yeah, in 2030, the only thing that's going to change is I'm going to be happy.
Well, if you take that 50-year mortgage, you'll be happy forever.
I don't know.
You'll be renting forever.
Yeah, literally. And the only and
I'm already at that state right now.
people who are going to be sad are the banks. They're like, oh, we hate to do this to you, but
see, I'm already in that state right now. I'm going to be renting forever right now anyway.
yeah.
Yeah,
And I don't have any
Yeah, but
mortgages or anything.
from the robots.
People automatically caught on to that and they were like, yeah, this is bullshit. Like that's the thing that I'm saying, like the positive end of this is people aren't gonna like go for it forever. And colleague, I don't know your situation or like how you make your money, but there is you have kids, so that makes it more complicated to do a lot of stuff. Like, but there are other ways to make money, including what you're doing here.
Yeah, OF.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
That's right. Get
The
on
super
the fan,
fans.
baby.
Oh, did someone just give another one?
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay.
I'm just me.
Well, so I've never heard anybody complain about a company truck. Like they get to use the truck and they don't have to pay for any of the bills. They don't have to pay for any of the mechanic work or nothing. It's a company truck. They don't own it and they're happy.
I'll tell you my
Yeah,
experience.
but they could be told what to do though.
But who cares? It's like so the company says, "All right, we need you to ditch this truck and go get another truck."
All
Is
you
that
need
really
to
gonna-
do is suck my dick. and you can have the company truck for the week.
But nobody's doing
That's
that.
all you need.
Nobody's doing that.
Yeah.
Sure,
Everybody.
go to Hollywood. Everyone's doing it.
You'd remember that all week. You would know there'd be no way you'd be happy with the
Oh,
company.
appreciate that, Mr. Iron Man Middle Dank. $2. He says, I want to adopt an 18-year-old Korean girl. Adopt. Well, there's plenty of them out there. I don't have any websites for you, but I'm sure if you do your research.
I think we found a new venture.